And welcome to Blacktown International Sports Park for the 2018 Tribal Sport NEAFL Final Series Preliminary Final 1. It is the Sydney Swans and the Canberra Demons. Michael Price is my name, and very excited to be here alongside Eddie Summerfield. Eddie, you called the Canberra Demons. Big upset last week over Sydney Uni. The youngsters have to deliver that same effort today.
And the energy and the excitement and the reckless abandon that we saw last week, they were the words of the skipper Bruce going into the final last week. And that's exactly how they played. That's what we'd be expecting again. The Swans, Pricey, coming off a week off. They finished second on the table. What are your expectations of them today?
Well, the Swans would probably have the top 13, 14, when you're talking about 13, 14 listed players in the league. They are a class outfit, but they've also been complemented by 13 or 14 odd brilliant young academy players. Ty Kennelly's been very bullish about the ability of his academy players all the way through season 2018, including the likes of Joey Reinhard and Sam Wicks, those type of players, Bailey Stewart, and they will be pivotal today. They're playing against a very young team, the Canberra Demons, who, as you called last week, they pulled off one of the upsets of the season, beating Sydney Uni in the elimination final. They created history by being the first team to come out of sixth to advance to week 2 of the NEAFL finals. Could they go further? I think they could. We've had a couple of major outs just announced. Dean Towers is the big one for mine, that he was named on a wing, so that's the tall timber gone. He's been called up. The other one?
Jordan Dawson, the other one not playing, who was listed. So a couple of AFL listed guys for the Swans not there. And obviously seniors talk during the week. Sam Reid, won't he play? He hasn't even been named at NEAFL level today. So that's another interesting one for the Swan season. Canberra, as you'd expect, Pricey, after their magnificent performance last week, they go in today unchanged. Really looking forward to, once again, we have to talk about this man, Pricey. Mitch Maguire, 45 disposals last week, 19 of them contested, 10 tackles as well. That's what I really loved about his game. He doesn't just get the easy ones on the wing, goes in, wins the hard ball, 5 inside 50s, outstanding. He only averaged 28 touches a game this season as well. He MVP, sorry, not MVP, he was the Tribal Sport Young Player of the Year, the Rookie of the Year, so outstanding as the two skippers come to the middle of the ground for the all-important toss of the coin. Not much wind today here, Pricey.
Yeah, so, well, look, Mitch Maguire, perhaps somebody from Sydney might want to stand next to him. That's what happened last week. Harry Marsh, acting as captain for the Sydney Swans, has won the toss. He will go to the left of screen, as will the Sydney Swans. Now, it's going to be a tight game. The Swans, they have a very good and a very bad NEAFL finals record. They've been undefeated in the last 3 prelim finals they've played. They made the prelim 2014, 2016 and last year. They've gone on to the grand final, unfortunately haven't won them. As we said, the Demons side is in its maiden finals campaign. They've already created the history of winning the first week. The second week could be theirs if they bring that pressure that they brought to the students last week. They absolutely rattled an older and more experienced Sydney Uni side with their pressure and tackling. They need to do that again today.
They do. In the middle of the ground, Milne again not playing. He suffered a concussion round 18, the Canberra Demons ruckman. So they did so well in the middle last week with a couple of part-timers against Sam Tagliabue of Sydney Uni, the ruckman. Darcy Cameron, he was the Team of the Year ruckman, second in the MVP. He's had an outstanding season this year, and I think he will be key for the Swans going forward as well. Really interesting to see their forward structure. Joel Armady, he went down with an ankle injury a few weeks ago. He's been a massive loss for them up forward as that target. So Cameron, while he'll be key up in the middle, going forward as well, tough matchup when he does lurk down that way.
And we see James Rose making his way down into the forward line left of screen. Now, he's a young man with a lot of potential. He's had the best of 4 goals this year against Southport back in May. He is a player with massive potential, as I say, but needs to deliver on the big stage. He's had a couple of opportunities over the last few years. This is a day that's built for James Rose, methinks.
Now, there's a big crowd below us. Now, I saw on the Canberra Demons Facebook page all week, how do we get there? How do we jump on the bus? So there's a couple of buses that have come up from the nation's capital for this big game in Canberra. So we'll hear them, no doubt, early in this first quarter.
No worries. We are here at Blacktown International Sports Park. for the 2018 Tribal Sport NEFL Final Series. We are broadcasting through our broadcast partner Bar TV, streaming live on NEFL TV, and we're proudly supported by Elastoplast. The Sydney Swans versus the Canberra Demons. The umpire holds it aloft. I'm Michael Price, and this is Eddie Summerfield to get you going.
Chance for the Demons to walk into their first grand final in their history this afternoon. And the Swans will be looking to get back to the big dance. Ball's bounced in the middle. The Demons to the right-hand side of your screen, but it will be the Swans out of the middle. Beautiful kick up and mark. Taken, played on quickly, but great smother. The Demons will look to clear defence for the first time today. Foot race on, bouncing there in front of Fulford. Couldn't find the handle on it. Good pressure. Could have been in the back. Umpire let play go on. Well picked up there by Brown. Flicked the handball backwards. He's got Cameron in support there. Kept going backwards, and the Swans will clear off half-back.
It was Veerhouse who put a bit of a wobbler into the centre square. They've got some options here. One of them's James Bell, centre half forward, takes the mark on the chest, wants to get moving quickly. He goes to the top of the square. Good effort there by the young fella in Elm, who was the emergency in the late in for Dean Towers. It's cleared by Canberra. Got to be cut off again by the Sydney Swans. Nicely weighted there from Flanagan, but again, the Canberra defence of reading this nicely. It's scrubbed out. Sydney Swans will come back through Harry Marsh.
So Marsh goes inside 50 again. 3-on-1 situation. Demons with numbers, bashed to ground. Bell's there, couldn't quite find it. And the Demons, they'll clear out of defence again through Martin. He was good last week. And his teammate there spills the mark over the line, and that's Mitch Hardy. And it will be tossed in for stoppage of it this afternoon.
So we've seen the intent from both sides. It's quick moving, and it's going to be like that basically all day, methinks, Eddie.
So tossed in again. Cameron got to front position. He'll just tap it down to his feet. Brown the target. Couldn't find it. And umpire circling. Maguire there as well. Good pick up. Held the footy above his head, Robbie Fox. Then dished it off as Canberra looks to just get a handball and work the meterage forward. But the Swans with numbers, using the handball in triangles. Going back there via hand was Styles to Maybaum. Backwards again, found Marsh. And they're in defensive 50 now, the Swans. They'll look to transition across half-back through Rogers. Just working the footy well, just looking for that clean target, and they go up the guts.
Great pressure from Canberra, who forced Sydney all the way back to their defensive 50. Now, can they get it through the Demons? There's a lot of traffic here in the centre of the ground. Umpire's going to come in and basically throw it up. About 20 players you can throw a hanky over at the true centre-half forward position. No score. We've played 2 minutes 24 of the first quarter here. It was Paik. Slapped it down. Oh, Sydney have got the run here. He's run a bit too far. Oh. He did have the run. An extra couple of metres did Robbie Fox. So it's going to be a free kick to Canberra, and their skipper, Aaron Bruce, is going to... He's got this journey, I reckon, Eddie. He's got this journey early on in the game. We'll see how the wind will affect it. He puts it to the top of the square. Disciplined play by Bruce. It's punched away. Sydney defence. Can Canberra manufacture something? Martin curls it back in. Horrible bounce. Well done by Maybaum. Gives it to Harry Marsh. They should get out of here if he lowers the eyes. Oh, he does lower the eyes, but he drills it straight into Lucas Maline's chest. And he will line up for the first real shot at goal here at Blacktown.
Just standing in the right place at the right time, Pricey. As you said then, the Swans player lowered his eyes a bit too far, and it just fell into the hands of Maline.
Lucas Maline, he's a big boy. He played 15 games this year from the Giants Academy, 7 goals. He leans back on it and pulls it a little left. Oh. It's the post, one behind. First score of the day, 3:40 gone, first quarter. Canberra, one behind. Sydney yet to score.
So let's have a look at how Sydney is structuring up here, and the Canberra defence zoned off beautifully. Short kick just finds this skipper for the day in Marsh. Played it quickly up the wing. Styles marks very strongly there in front of Klemke. So Styles up through the wing. Good kick. Stern was waiting. He goes quickly out wide to the flank. And they've worked this very well, the Swans. A couple of chip kicks. Suddenly they're at half forward as the handball came to Rose. He can show a bit of run and dash. James Rose ran to 55, put it to the hot spot. Brown, the target, marks.
Yeah, great kick from James Rose, and that's the kind of ability we were talking about pre-game, Eddie, is the fact that if he puts the skates on, he's a beautiful user of the football. He's got a football brain. He saw where he needed to kick it. He drilled it, and it was a really nice mark taken by the young fella and Jake Brown.
Played 15 games this year, Brown. 6 goals. He'll be kicking from directly in front. First real chance to score for the Swans this afternoon. They've worked it all the way from a kick in as Brown comes in, drop punt on the way. Goal umpire doesn't move. First major of the day going the way of the Swans, Jake Brown. And that was beautiful play by Sydney to work the footy end to end. Didn't touch a Canberra hand from the kick in. As we have a look on the Tribal Sport replay screen.
Got a beautiful ball drop here, is Jake Brown. Just really compact style, and you saw how straight that was. Goal umpire had to put the flip top head on to lean back and let it go straight over. Good stuff. 5 points the margin. Sydney leading early. 5.5 gone first term. This is NEFL TV streaming live with our broadcast partner Bar TV, and we're proudly supported by Elastoplast. It's preliminary final 1 here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Canberra versus Sydney. Nice bounce from the ump. Bangs it down. Darcy Cameron, member of the NEFL Team of the Year, comes through, gets his second possession, chips it forward. Good defensive effort and good attacking effort there from Sydney Swans in Styles. He follows the ball up. Canberra will get it out here, though. Nice work there from Martin. Kicks it down the wing. Good contest, and coming at the back there for Canberra was Vardaniga. He couldn't quite control it. Harry Marsh gets it now to his teammate in Reinhardt. Joey Reinhardt lowers the eyes. Oh, Rose spoiled, but kept his feet. Wheels around onto the right shoe. Great kick, James Rose. That's the second one he set up. Josh Stern takes the mark. He'll have a shot from 40, 45-degree angle to the right, but that's how important James Rose can be. Set up the other plays. He doesn't have to kick them himself.
Every time he's gone near the ball along that half-forward line, his eyes have lit up. The second he's got on it, we've seen his acceleration, and as you've called, Pricey, and as we've seen, his delivery's been outstanding.
So Stern, Josh Stern, usually a small defender, can go forward, obviously. 45 metres away. Well, he is a small defender, and that's what they usually do with the pill out of bounds on the full. Still 5 points the margin. Sydney leading with 7 gone first term.
So Canberra bring the ball in. They'll clear defensive 50 up near the scoreboard. Ball near the boundary line. The Swans working it back inside 50. Picking it up tight on the boundary line. There was Stoddart. He's taken out a play and it will be thrown in.
Good footballer Riley Stoddart as well. Geez, they just keep producing them. The production line at the Sydney Swans Academy, and also their drafting process. Well done.
So tossed in, Swans in attack if you've just joined us on NEFL TV this afternoon. They've got an early one, lead by 5 points. Grabbing it out of the ruck was Richards. Kick was smothered. Brown laying a tackle. Canberra with numbers. They just want to hold it up here, try and get a clean possession. Brown taken to ground in about 20 tackles. Canberra rush kick through Taylor. Bell there for Sydney. Driven into the turf and it will be bounced.
This is where, we said earlier, Canberra got over the top of Sydney Uni last week. And if they can continue in this tackling pressure, they will get through it again. Klemke knocked off the ball, picked up by Smout. He just scrubs it towards the outer side. Left half back, beautifully picked up there by Vardaniga. Now he's lost the ball. Sydney have it now. It's towed forward by Stern, inside 50. Rowan, he's got some skill. He uses the left foot to advantage. He is not going to miss. A goal like that, Gary Rowan, with his experience, number 6 in the 2009 draft, kicks the goal for Sydney. Their second, 2 straight 12. Canberra 1 behind, 8.5 gone first term on NEFL TV.
As we have a look on the Tribal Sport replay screen, Clyde Kempke just got lost in a bit of no man's land there, the coach in front of Gary Rowan. As Gary Rowan, he's a player you don't want to give any space to in attacking 50. And he made them pay on the scoreboard. Interesting to see the game time that the Swans put into Rowan today, Pricey.
Yeah, they've still got the AFL side playing later on today against GWS Giants. And, of course, the longer they go in this final series, both the NEFL and AFL sides, there is that fight for spots in the AFL side, and it makes it very difficult for some of the NEFL guys as well. Back into the middle.
Bounced. Richards was there. Cameron again. Flicked it back out to Rose. Have a look at his run and carry. Just showed the footy to Taylor, then took off. Kicked it long. Stoddart the target. Bounced in front of him. Sorry, that might be It is Stoddart. I was right the first time. Should have backed myself in as he did with his kick to Bell. Gave it back to the running Stoddart. Underground kick inside 50. Row on the target. On hands and knees as he took a bit of a dive. Footy at ground level. Good defensive pressure from Osborne. Still bubbling away down there, and Canberra will get a clearing kick. Kempke, the target, kept it in front of him, and the D's have numbers on that half-back flank.
It's a long kick towards the outer side. Beautifully read there by Harrison Marsh, who chips it into the middle of the ground. Finds McKellar. McKellar over the top now to Flanagan. Flanagan gives it off. It's going to be, kicked into the path of Styles. It was Reinhardt. It just nutmegged him, went straight through the middle, hacked out of defence for the Demons. Fulford went the body, not the ball, and it ended up working for him in the end as Veerhouse collected it and slipped. Jeez. But I thought Ben Fulford very fortunate there.
And Veerhouse got driven into the turf at Blacktown.
Lucky it rained overnight. It's a little bit damp, so it would have been a little bit soft. There's Maguire into Taylor, scrubs it inside 50. Mitch Hardy, what can he do? Just watch it go over the boundary line. A throw in right next to the 50-metre arc, and it's 11 points the margin. Sydney lead, 10.5 gone. First quarter, Neefle TV, Michael Price, and this is Eddie Summerfield.
Maguire's first real touch and influence on this game. He had 45 touches last week, and the real game winner as the footy's tossed in. It's the D's in attack. Underground kick was nice from Osborne, but Swans defenders have number. Taylor providing pressure, turned over to Maguire. The D's are on the board through Maguire. Beautiful kick, read the play so well, Mitch Maguire, and then just put it on his boot. Beautiful goal, Pricey.
They needed that goal, the Canberra Demons. The Swans have shown them a clean pair of heels. We'll see it on the Tribal Sport replay. The dodgy handball just picked off, but in traffic, on an angle like that, the composure of the young man to drill it through, and this is what has got him on the AFL recruiters' radar, Mitch Maguire. He'd have to be in the conversation somewhere for a mature age draft day. 45 touches last week in a pressure final, and that's the class that he's got. Well done.
He's training for the AFL because he came straight off after that goal, and the crowd gave him an applause down there as he came off. So back in the middle of Blacktown. 5-point margin. It's a lead the way of the Swans as Cameron won this one down. Went through Rose's hand. They'll get the clearance, or clearance to the wing anyway, as Rose put his head over it. Could have ducked. Umpire said, yep, free kick.
Yeah, he put his head down, he did. But umpire suggested it wasn't enough to not accept the free kick. James Rose bites off a 45 kick, and he hits Maybaum. Maybaum wheels around. That's a penetrating ball towards Darcy Cameron. What a spear of a kick, and what a great grab from the Neefle Team of the Year ruckman, Darcy Cameron. 20-odd metres out, slide angle to the left.
23 goals this year. That has been one of the big things that he's lifted in his game this season, Darcy Cameron. Last year he averaged less than a goal a game. This year he's really worked on that, and he's averaging a goal and a half a game. He's a good kick of the footy, and I don't think he'll have any problems from here.
Well, he's kicked 3 goals twice this season in a game. Darcy Cameron, let's see what he can do here. From about 35, starts it right, it's coming back not enough. One behind results. So 2-1-13 to 7 points. So it's back to one straight goal, the lead in favour of the Sydney Swans.
So the kick in, this looks to be the trend today, out towards the scoreboard, punched back inside the Swans defence. It will run away from Fulford down there. Swans with numbers though, they just managed to keep it in as Canberra come to it. Woody's kicked out of defence, Swans there. Bending over to pick it up was Powell. He couldn't quite get a kick on it, and it's cut off at half-back for the D's, and they'll work a handball out of defence.
Goes out to left half-back. Nice work by Bailey Stewart for Sydney. Brought the ball to ground. Reid Stevens goes in, shuffles a handball out. In close quarters, they're doing well, Canberra. Mitch Hardy hooks it into the middle. Fulford uses his body well, then gets the ball and then gets slung. How did he get rid of it, sir? Nothing happening. Picked up by the Swans. It was taken by McGrath. He's the other late inclusion for Jordan Dawson, who is a late out for Sydney. And they propel the ball towards the outer boundary and will get a throw in. Right next to the I Love Blacktown sign. I'm quite fond of it already.
It's a beautiful part of Sydney, Blacktown. It's a great complex here, the International Sports Park, as it's thrown in again. Good use of the body by Peake as it went out the back, rushed kick. Swans with numbers. Cameron went and picked it up, flicked the handball backwards, and the D's will work it towards the boundary line and work another stoppage.
You'd have to think that Canberra, probably a little bit gun-shy, a little bit, well, I suppose a little bit nervous early on in the game for the first few minutes, but they've settled down into it, only a goal away from it now. Throw in, Paik versus Cameron. Paik did beautifully at ground level, but then gave the ball straight back to Darcy Cameron. He got tackled. It's hacked out of there by Rose. Nice juggling effort there from Martin from Canberra. Kicks it inside 50. Maybaum read it beautifully. Now, Fulford came in late. Was it knocked out? No, umpire says Maybaum can just go back and take his kick. He does so.
There's one-on-ones everywhere. Cameron the target. Good mark. Foot above there, his opponent. And the size that the Swans have in their back line, it looks to be really troubling Canberra early in this first quarter as Cameron just goes short. Nice little kick. They're happy to do this all day, Sydney. Just chip it around, wait for the target to produce as they'll come back into the corridor now. Slipping was McCullough, but Mark Deasy ran on. Short kick, interesting to selection. Cameron flicked a handball back to McCullough through traffic. It came to McCullough then. He goes boundary side. And it's worked well to the Swans. They got it at the wing and they'll have to play on.
Now it's with Verhouse. Gets around his opponent. Kicks inside 50. And that was actually Allen, Hamish Allen. Now, geez, I thought he might have been responsible for a push out there, but nothing happening. The umpire said that was good. So Hamish Allen, who was an emergency at the start of the game, came in for the two late outs, which were Dean Towers and Jordan Dawson. He's going to have to kick this from 45, left footer. That's a good-looking conveyance. And the goal umpire, what's he doing? Got no sense of theatre. Needed to do something with the hands. We were waiting for a signal. It was a great kick in the end, and well done to Hamish Elam. The emergencies come in and kicked the Swans' third goal. 3-1-19 plays 1-1-7 to the Demons. 16 and a half gone. First quarter, Neefle TV through Bar TV.
Geez, Pricey, as we look at the Tribal Sport replay screen, that was a beautiful strike of the footy. Drop punt, it was as straight as an arrow. And just prior to that, the use of his body in the marking contest, Allen, was outstanding. And they've rewarded him by going into this ball up and doing the ruck work as Cameron takes a spell at full forward. So, get one back to the Swans after a good start. It's pinged into the turf. Beautiful bounce. Both ruckmen jumped, hit the ground before Richards got his hand on it first. Spilled out to Richardson. Goes backwards. He wants it again, and the mark's taken there by Baker. Baker looks to move it quickly. This is better from the Ds as it ricochets down inside 50. Owen Orban there. He's tackled before he really got his handle on it. Then he found it, flicked it back to Vanguarder. He went short, and it's going to be turned over, and the mark is well taken there by the Swans defender.
Robbie Fox takes off, gives the handball away. Rogers. Oh, dangerous kick from Rogers. It's spoiled. Fox can't quite get there for the Swans. Well done there. McKellar tackled into the ground. It's Canberra with a big chance here. Smout, can he get there? No. Good spoiling effort there from Styles. Canberra still trying to do their darndest to get it through. Paik. Now it comes back. That's a high shot. Didn't duck the head. It was Angus Baker who took one high at around about centre-half forward. A couple of umpires, one either side, including umpire number 3 and Cameron Barr, who comes in with the ball.
So a let off there for the Swans as Canberra just peppering, trying to get it back inside 50. They do so now. Bouncing footy. Coming out to meet it was Bruce. It came down to ground level. The Swans good there with numbers. Good tackle laid, and it will be bounced right in a dangerous area for Sydney.
Well, Sydney would be happy with where this game's sitting at the moment, 18 gone first term, but Canberra, they've locked it in. This is where they started to get on top last week. Lock the ball in and produce it. As Rose trying to bust his way through, toes it towards half-back. Leading for Sydney was Sam Wicks. Overruns the ball, as does Richardson for Canberra. Now Powell puts himself in. He gets it, thrown off it as well. Ball still in dispute at left half forward, and the umpire's going to come in, hug himself and says, we'll ball it up.
Plenty of numbers around all of the stoppages today. Just the Swans' style of footy. Tossed up, Canberra in attack. Came down to Brown, went without it. Canberra go inside 50, peaked the target, brought it to ground level well against Maybaum, then kept it in. Maybaum led in the race for it, bent over, picked it up. Swans will look to clear defence through the corridor. Risky kick, bouncing. Bit of volleyball work as they work it out of defence. This looks good from Sydney through the corridor here at Blacktown. Handball came to Robbie Fox. Put it back on the good length as Fox gets it back. Couldn't find the handle on it. Great pressure there from Martin. He did very well, Sam Martin. Couldn't quite clear it out. Highmore there too. Handball came back to Richardson. Short kick's good and Canberra are away.
Smout on the left foot looking for Pake. It drops in front of him. The big man stops, props, ends up going back for the ball. Still maintained front position. He's got Swans player there riding him like Seabiscuit into the ground, and it will be a ball up, and that was Jack Maybaum. So we'll have Nathan Richards in the ruck, slapping it down to Powell. Can't quite get it. James Rose can. Through traffic, handball now. Fox. It's a wobbler towards centre half forward. Bounces kindly for Darcy Cameron. And well done there. Canberra defence on top. And it was a beautiful effort by Riley Budd, who's still got the ball. And it's a long kick.
And the mark spilled at half forward, so the Swans will have a chance to rebound again. This time through Marsh, long kick. Cameron, the target. Cameron reels it in, couldn't hold the mark. Demons defence rush back. Handball came out to Budd again. Had to go back and find it before banging it on his boot. Target Hardy underneath it. Mark strongly in front of Rose. And they get away with one there. I thought Cameron just about had it.
Oh, gee whiz, he had the big mitts all over it. Dodgy kick, and it was... Well, it was actually made it there okay, but Martin made it look very ugly by dropping it. Riley Studdard jumps in there with him, holds the ball underneath, and we'll get a ball up 40 metres out from the Swans' goal. Swans dominating as far as getting the ball inside 50, just not putting it on the board. Canberra defence doing well.
Cameron won this one down to his feet. Bell picking it up through traffic, went without it. In fact, it was Fox again, and he's pinged. So they'll look to move it quickly here through Maguire. He'll take a bounce. Could take two, but elects to kick it long to the skipper. Bruce the target. Rose got lost there underneath it, but he did well enough to create a stoppage. Veerhouse inside 50. Drop punt to the pocket. Looking for the boundary line. Finds it. And it will be tossed in. Swans in attack. Leading this ball game by 2 straight kicks at Blacktown. Preliminary final day in the NEAFL.
Great day for footy. Of course, the preliminary final 2 later on today. Streaming live on NEAFL TV is Aspley versus Southport from Southport's home ground at Fankhauser Reserve on the Gold Coast. It's Darcy Cameron, grabs it out of the ruck, toes it forward. Owen Orban goes up, claims the mark, then Bailey Stewart claims him. Umpire says play on. Didn't go the required distance, so we'll have a ball up 35 metres out directly in front. All but 6 players involved inside 50. Fox lets loose the ball. Crowd wanted ball. Richardson on hands and knees. Tackled by Fox. Ball stuck underneath. Umpire circling and says we'll ball it up again. Canberra defence just working overtime at the moment, Eddie.
They're getting to every stoppage, every play, just to apply pressure as Cameron won it down. Rowan lurking, but here's this man again, Maguire, through the corridor. Take the target, 2-on-1 situation, and the Swans should bring it back inside 50. Marsh had time. Ugly drop punt inside 50. Maguire there again, ball at ground level. Taylor there too, rushed a handball backwards, just trying to find a clear target. Smout backwards, Smout gets it back, then banged his boot on ball. Taylor props underneath it, 3-on-1, good mark from the side, Malign, but it's going to be a free kick to the Swans.
Yeah, I think Isaac Taylor just came in there and knocked the Swans player out before acceptances, so Robbie Fox from 55 puts it to a very dangerous spot. Cameron off hands. He had the sit, the big man. It came off front and centre. Canberra have got all the numbers. Highmore gets in there. Hacks it out towards the outer side. This is going to favour Harrison Marsh, today's captain for the Sydney Swans. He picks it up beautifully on the 1 mitt and drills a pass. Oh, it hit Riley Stoddart between the 2 nipples right there.
Right on the sternum, Pricey. And Canberra, they've worked so hard, but repeat entries from the Swans and the pressure just got to Canberra and eventually the loose man Stoddart. I'd be happy to be on the delivery of that every day of the week.
Oh, your eyes would just go as wide as dinner plates. Riley Stoddart is coming in now. Pulls it left a little and hits the post, slams into the woodwork. So 3-2-20, 1-1-7. It's 13 points the margin in favour of the Swans. We've played about 24 minutes of this first term on NEAFL TV through Bar TV.
So they'll kick it to themselves, Canberra, before going long up that scoreboard wing. Pack comes to the drop of the footy. Stoddard back with the flight. Umpire called play on. Thought it could have been a mark. Umpire now will bounce it.
14 odd degrees today, so we've got lots of cloud cover. The wind is negligible, so it's not favouring either end at the moment, but a cool day here in Blacktown.
Cameron won that one down as Maguire sees it over the boundary line. About 25 minutes gone in this opening quarter. The Swans just working the stoppage as well. Plenty of players around the footy. They've helped maintained possession very well in this opening quarter, kept it in their forward half as Cameron won this one down, smothered off his boot by Canberra. They can get a handball to Maguire here. They could be out, but the pressure from the Swans too good. Rushed kick. Maguire now goes in and wins it for himself. Why wouldn't you? Gave it across to Taylor. Canberra hacking the footy to the wing position. Marsh is there, going back to pick this one up. Flanagan got a bit of space, then put it on his boot to half forward. Good pressure from the Canberra defence. They've got players here. Hakes there, flicked it backwards. Great pressure from the Swans. Umpire called play on. They come in numbers now, Sydney. Can they get a handball out to Rose? He was waiting for it. Came back to Stern, round the body to the top of the goal square. Stoddart again. Plays on, goal. Easy as you like for the Sydney Swans. Great pressure, works the footy forward. Stoddart waiting on the goal line. And Sydney kick away.
So 4-2, 26 to 117, that's 19 points the margin. And you see on the Tribal Sport replay, it was just hacked forward, Riley Stoddart in the right position. And then smart play. Just realised that he had Highmore done and dusted, pivoted around and went through, smacked it through. You can't miss him from there. So 4 goals, 2 to 1-1. Canberra need to get a bit of a wriggle on here. You can see that Sydney have been dominating and getting involved. They've had plus 20 possessions at the moment, have the Sydney Swans. It's 87 to 64, so plus 23 at the moment. They've got more of the ball. They're using the ball better. And, of course, when it gets inside 50, they're converting. So that's the difference at the moment, Eddie. We need to get Canberra to get that pressure going like they did midway through this quarter.
Just need to find the footy. Cameron flew high. Peake just waited for him to do the ruck work as it spilled out to the wing. They hack it forward again, Canberra, without winning a clean possession. Very good use of the body. Well done there. McCallum did well. Flicked it across to Brown. He's wrapped up in a tackle, driven into the turf. 3-on-1. Umpire says, let's toss it up, boys.
Yeah, you can hear the crowd just below us here at Blacktown International Sports Park. There's been buses here from Canberra and a lot of Sydney Swans support, as you would expect here. It was picked up there by Jake Brown, immediately tackled into the dirt and given a little bit there by Mitch Maguire to go on with. It was Angus Styles who didn't appreciate that. Umpire throws it up. Peake versus Cameron. Cameron outpointed Peake completely. Gets it down to Robbie Fox. He's tackled there by Aaron Bruce right through the interchange gates, right in front of the Neefle TV, Bar TV commentary box. We'll get a throw in.
So Canberra, they won't want to concede another one, but if they can work something inside 50 and snag one before quarter time, they'll go on with a bit of momentum as the ball's tossed in, went over the ruckman's head. Crumbing it out the back beautifully was Richardson. Put it high and long, but it'll be cut off. A couple of Swans raffle it, and here's O'Riordan. Made his AFL debut for the Swans during the season. Kicked it out to Stoddart. He's been really good today. Looks further afield.
He is a player, this boy. He has got some toe.
And now he goes. Poor kick in the end, really, after we give him a bit of a pump up. Canberra defence under pressure. They worked a series of handballs nicely, and it came out to Budd, who'll just clear it up the wing. Bouncing footy. Canberra under pressure. Maguire went back, and another hacked kick forward, but it will be cut off, and Sydney will have a chance to reload.
O'Riordan, Neefle Team of the Year member again this year. That's his second gong for that. Gary Rowan tries to break through. One arm. Gone. Gone. Picked up by Osborne. Hacked forward. Will they pay advantage? No. So we'll go back there. Well, there's kind of no advantage, but it was kicked into open spaces sitting down there. So that was a great tackle. Gary Rowan, who is an absolute speedster, just had his arm pinned by Ben Fulford and couldn't get a handball away when you're holding it with one and somebody else has got the other. So Fulford now, a high ball, 30 metres from goal. Swans completely dominated that pack. Canberra needed Peake to be getting in there or one of the bigger boys. But Darcy Cameron, he owns the footy, he owns the Sharon, and there's the siren for quarter time. The Sydney Swans doing it beautifully at the moment, 4-2-26 to Canberra, 1-1-7. It's 19 points the margin in favour of the Swans. Your goal scorers are Gary Rowan, Jake Brown and Hamish Elam, and Riley Stoddart as well. That's the 4 for Sydney. Mitch Maguire, the prolific ball getter, is the only goal scorer for the Canberra Demons. Eddie Summerfield, that was a quarter dominated by Sydney, and if Canberra's defence weren't as stoic as it was, we could have had a bigger margin.
The Demons, their defenders, as you say there, they can hold their heads up high because they did all of the heavy lifting for Canberra. Their forward line isn't quite functioning as well as you would have liked it. The Swans' defence have been outstanding. They're a foot taller. We've seen O'Riordan go back on numerous occasions. Fox, that run-off halfback's been great. Harry Marsh, Maybarn, they're two generals down there today. They're just patrolling it. They need to think a little bit more, Canberra, coming out of midfield. They need Bruce to be providing as a target. They need Hardy to offer something. We saw Harry Carr get a lot of space last week deep forward. Maybe that's an option. Throw him to the square and bang it long. But the Swans, they dominated that quarter and they've earned this 19-point lead.
Certainly. They've got to mix it up, the Canberra Demons, if they're going to come back at the Sydney Swans. It is the NEFL Final Series, the 2018 Tribal Sport Final Series. We're broadcasting live on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner, Bar TV. That was it for the first quarter. We'll have a short break and be back with quarter number 2 very shortly on NEFL TV. Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park. It's the 2018 Tribal Sport NEFL Finals Series, preliminary final one, and it's the Sydney Swans against the Canberra Demons. The Swans dominated that first term, 4-2-26 to Canberra 1-1-7. 19 points the margin. Canberra's defence held up very well, but the youngsters need to get a bit of a wriggle on some of Sydney's more experienced players. Darcy Cameron, Jack Maybaum, Harry Marsh, they're having field days at the moment. Michael Price is my name. I'm with Eddie Summerfield calling the action. And Eddie, the Canberra really need to pull the finger out, literally, to get a hold of the Swannies.
They need to do something up forward because they've blazed away, turned it over every time. So they're kicking to the left-hand side of your NEFL TV. Sydney to the right as the ball's pinged into the turf again. Cameron, another one, he's one down. Rose just got a chip kick forward. Brown chasing for it. Smout there too for Canberra. Ball bubbling away. Still going. And let's throw it up once more because that's what we do when that happens, when the ball's not going anywhere, Pricey.
Well, it's a little soft underfoot on the ground. Had a little bit of a walk across it before. We had some rain overnight here in Blacktown, but it has significantly dried out as James Bell enters the fray. Got some toe. This kid just comes through, handballs it indiscriminately, though not picked up by Cameron. Powell did well. Handball now over the top. It's going to get to Malign. Malign now inside 50. At the back, Bruce. Bruce at the front, Hardy. Hardy roves. Hardy hooks. Hardy misses to the right. 1 point. 4-2 to 1-2. 3 straight goals the margin. That's 18 points. The Swannies lead.
I like that from Canberra. They're just taking the game on a bit more, moving the footy a little bit faster. That's what they need to do as the Swans work it short. They did so well. Stoddard the target here. Went over his head. Cameron there. Pake too. Coming with the flying fist was Highmore. Footy clogged up again. Highmore on top of it. Somehow came out. Great work by Pake. Underground kick. It will work out well. He just held it beautifully. Handball over the top's good. Smout there. Got tackled. Short kick nice to Osborne. In space. Came back to Pake. Pake unloads a weird torp to the hot spot. Bouncing footy. Chaos ball if you like. Bounces out the back. Stevens a chance. Oh, and it's rushed through for a behind. Interesting from the Swans.
How about the left foot inside out torpedo there from Alex Pake? And I loved what Highmore did there in that contest. Came over and gave Pake a bit of a chop out against Darcy Cameron. He's going to need it again here. Good spoil. Comes through to Maguire. Shoots the handball to Smout. Overcooks it. Riley Stoddart. Pace. He overruns it too. It's now with Sam Wicks. Goes one way, then the other. Under pressure from Powell. Kicks it towards centre half forward. Oh, it was well done there from Hulls, but he couldn't hold the mark. Did the field position beautifully. The Baker boys, they get together alongside Vardaniga. It's kicked out there by Riley Budd as well. Oh, they got a run through here, Canberra. What's going to happen? It's going to be chipped inside 50, and it could have been taken there by Hardy. No, it was just spoiled, and the Swans hack it out.
High kick, it will nearly come back with interest, but stepping in was Stewart. He's been good. Short one over the top. Interesting to Rose. Could have run on. He really wants to. Loves going for a dash, this young player. Rose now unleashes it inside 50. Rowan the target coming from the side. The coach Klemke. Umpire called play on. Spilled out to Bell. Bell shrugs the tackle. Put it on his right boot. Over the top. Bouncing ball. It's a goal. Beautiful work there from James Bell. Never gave up. Took the crumbs. And the Swans get the first of this second quarter.
Well, that's got to hurt Canberra, who started very, very well the first couple of minutes of this, and we'll see it on the replay, the Tribal Sport replay. He just arched the back, had a little bit too much pace, and just put it to the top of the square, let it dribble through. Class act, James Bell, and the Sydney Swans, well, they've got another one on their hands. The boy from the Illawarra, he's rookie drafted through the Swans Academy, kicked 12-odd goals through the year, and is an absolute monster on the 2K time trial as well. Won the entire race for the club. So look out for James Bell, AFL and NEFL future.
Biggest noise I ever heard at a NEFL game this year. Bell running into an open goal in a game at Wollongong against the Giants. Everyone in the Illawarra heard it. It was a ripper. As it's bounced in the middle. Canberra, they need the next one. As Cameron won this one down, but it was well crumbed by Peake. Flicked a handball across. They should go inside 50 here, the Ds. Who wants a mark? Hardy flies. Came out the back. Swans with numbers at defence. They'll try and find the boundary line here, the Demons, but the handball was too good. They had space. Marsh, he's a class act across half-back. Put it on his right boot. Wants a target. Bit of holding going on, and the free kick will go the way of the Swans in Alum. The late in today, Pricey.
And the last goal scorer, second last goal scorer was Allen. Kicked it long. Or it was Highmore who dropped the mark, then copped one high. Nothing happening. Gary Rowan roves it. Tackled into the ground. Holding the ag, it has to be. Incorrect disposal. It was a really good tackle. And it's going to go back to the playing coach, Cade Klemke. Of course, not the skipper. He's just the playing coach.
Ooh.
Skipper is Bruce. It was towed forward there by Riley Budd. Intercepted there by the Sydney Swans. Now Klemke gets it back out wider. It's coming to Smout. Smout kicks it down the centre. O'Riordan. Spoil Fox front and centre back to O'Riordan. Now chipping it high. Looking for Bell. Alex Pake formidably comes back with the flight of the ball and saves the day for the Demons.
Canberra's lifted a notch in the last couple of minutes. They realise the game's on the line, but the possession just hasn't been there as Allen gets it. Kick inside 50. It's off hands, but the D's are going to have to work fast to get it out of there. String of handballs, good pressure. Allen followed up beautifully. Put it on his right boot to the hot spot. Danger, chaos ball. Reinhardt underneath, but a fly came from the side, and the mark is taken by Joey Reinhardt. That was sensational. Big fly from the youngster.
They've got big raps on here on this fellow. I said that Coach Ty Kennelly really is backing his Sydney Swans Academy members, but Joey Reinhardt's had a very strong year. He's played 11 games for the year, averaged 13 disposals at nearly 70%, so he's doing quite well, the young man.
He's only kicked with 2 snags. This for number 3 in 2018, and to give a big lead for the Swans. Drop punt on the way, misses to the right. Misses everything, Pricey.
Isn't that the commentator's curse, though? You just spend minutes, you've rehearsed all this stuff, researched it, and well, never mind. It's back pocket. It's with Cade Klemke. I wonder what he'll have to say to his charges coming up to half-time. 6 minutes gone, second term. That's an aggressive kick. Let's put it that way. Tom Highmore takes a juggling mark. If he didn't take that, the Demons were in all sorts. And that's a very aggressive kick as well. They're taking the game on at least. Powell inside 50. It was beautifully read there by Veerhouse, but he couldn't quite pick it up. Mitch Hardy can. He weaves one way then the other, the right foot, and he finds his teammate in Harrison Carr. Needs to get involved. Kicked 3 goals last week. Was instrumental in their win, the North Shore and Sydney Academy product. So Harrison Carr. It's a long way out. He'll have to strike this one from 55. About 57, methinks. He starts it right. It goes even righter, if that is the case, and that is out of bounds on the full. So 23 points the margin. Sydney lead it. 7 gone. Second quarter. Neefle TV through Bar TV.
So the Swans wait and wait. Then they'll run it across the defensive goal square, calling for Brown to get into position. He does so now under pressure, but strong hands. He's been outstanding today, Jake Brown. He'll look to go backwards to his blonde-haired mate in Rose. His kick, ugly, hideous. Off hands, though, but the umpire says it was a mark, only just to Malign. He was good last week. I'd like to see him get his hands on it a little bit more as he goes inside 50, wants a mark, needs a mark, gets a mark. Isaac Taylor, right place, right time. Fell into his hands uncontested.
So he's also a player who racks up to possessions last week, 24 disposals. He had 9 clearances, very good. The former Belconnen Magpie really needs to steady. He's kicked a few goals this year for the Canberra Demons, and he needs to actually put this one through. They need to get a bit of a wriggle on here to actually stop this Swans momentum.
Played 18 of 19 games in season 2018. Comes in, 45-degree angle, strikes it beautifully. What's the line like? It hits the post. Needed that one, Pricey.
Absolutely.
1-4 now.
So it's 22 points the margin. The Swannies lead it, and Canberra haven't scored a goal since the 11-minute mark of the first term. Fumbling effort there, put the ball over the boundary line. We're going to get a throw in. Gives the Demons another shot at it. They're right half forward, right in front of that scoreboard. Here at Blacktown International Sports Park, Michael Price and Eddie Summerfield calling all of your action. Hope you're enjoying the stream on Neefle TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. Darcy Cameron got the ball down. James Rose couldn't handle it. Once again, the ball stuck under he, and Isaac Taylor will get another ball up, right half forward. Congested play. It is a final series, so you would expect that, Eddie.
As Cameron wins this one down easy. Brown got the clearing kick to the wing. Good little wrestle going on there as the Swans, they'll work the handball through midfield beautifully. Came out to the running Styles. He's got plenty of it as he gives it to Bell. Bell could have run into an open goal and kick his second in a row. Instead, he opts for the set shot to show off a few more of his skills.
Yeah, can play, can run, can kick a goal as well, James Bell. He's something that the Swans can get very excited about. He's a smooth mover, isn't he? He looks like he covers the ground very easily.
Excitement machine across half forward and intermittently through the midfield when he gets a run there as Bell begins his approach. Kicked one early in this quarter. This for number 2. Comes in to make a 28-point ball game. Make no mistake about it. Got his second. And Canberra now, they've got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, the youngsters in the Canberra side, you really want to make sure that, I think Cade Klemke would love to get them inside the dressing rooms as soon as possible. They've still got 20-odd minutes of this quarter, but you would want to get those youngsters now. You can see what's happening out there. The Swans are daring when they get the ball. Canberra, they're under a lot of pressure. The roles reversed a little bit from last week against Sydney Uni, Eddie.
They look a bit tired almost, Canberra, this week. The rain, maybe they're a bit heavy under the leg. They've had a big week on the track. They're nervous. It's a prelim final. First time the club's got this far in a season. Maybe a lot of it's played out in their head leading into this afternoon. We'll
see how it goes. They get back to that reckless abandon, as you said.
Yes.
It was beautifully done by Darcy Cameron. He went back for a second effort and copped one high. That was an accidental shot. He'll get back up. Canberra have the ball now. It's Taylor, chips it forward. Smout could have gone harder there, Smout, with the ball. He allowed the Sydney Swan come through, but he made up for it with a very good tackle. It was a tackle on Veerhouse, but and because the ball wasn't returned on the fall, Smout will get a 50-metre penalty. Oh, that is crucial. Just give the ball back. So from a shot that was a very, very difficult one, Alex Smout walks up into the goal square and pops it over the top to get Canberra's second goal, and that is a reliever for the Demons. Back to 22 points the margin, 6-2-38 to 2-4-16, and we've played 11 and a half minutes of the second quarter on NEFL TV.
He can be so damaging, can Alex Smout. Saw him get plenty of it last week. He's the leading possession getter on the ground at the moment for Canberra. He's had 9. For the Swans, Harry Marsh, he's been outstanding so far. He's had 13, and Colin O'Riordan, the Irishman, he's had 11 for the Swans. So they're our leading possession getters at the moment. Good to see them getting early touches. But as you said then, Pricey, that could get the pressure off Canberra, get a bit of momentum. We're halfway through this second quarter as the ball's thrown up in the middle this time. Paik won it down, but Swans get the clearing kick through Styles. Came down, and the mark is well taken there by Martin. Wanted to go quickly, but the Swans, as you'd expect from a Sydney side, zoned off beautifully. Looked one way, then went the other, and the short kick's good, and it finds Richardson.
Oh, geez, did that go the required distance? It was very short. It was a little bit of a pitching wedge. It's going to go to Riley Budd, though. Budd, he goes a little longer down the wing. It's going to advantage Sydney. Big pack of players and off their hands. Reid Stevens picked it up. He's immediately picked up and thrown into the ground. Towed forward again by Canberra. Harry Marsh has got it covered. Gets the hands back, and once again, they'll get out of it. It was well taken by Sam Wicks, and they're coming out laterally to the commentary side. Dangerous, Klemke. Intercepted. He was off. He played on. And Stoddart tackled him. James Rose entered the fray. He dropped it like a bad habit. Taken high. Nothing happened. The umpire did call it. That is a late call, but it was there. He was taken high. Aaron Bruce isn't happy about it. Ben Fulford plays on cheekily and kicks a goal for Canberra. That gets the crowd in front of us going, and will that get the Demons up and running against this powerful Sydney Swans unit? 6-2-38, plays 3-4-22, back to 16 points the margin.
So we look on the Tribal Sport replay screen. Bruce, the man of muscle that he is, came in. Rose did too much, but so smart from Ben Fulford, an experienced player, saw 10 metres in front of himself and thought, I can go back and kick this, and let's get 2 in a row. Let's get a bit of momentum going, Pricey.
Well, there you go. They hadn't scored a goal since the 11-minute mark of the first term. Bang, bang, 2 in a row here in the second quarter. And we've got a game on our hands here at Blacktown. 16 points the margin. Let's see if Canberra can continue this enthusiastic, reckless abandon.
Reckless abandon.
We're riding home reckless abandon here at Blacktown.
The words of the skipper, Aaron Bruce, leading into this final series. Hopefully you're enjoying it on Neefle TV. Pitches courtesy of Bar TV. Bounced again in the middle. Showing the footy off there was Smout as he went backwards. And they got players on the outer wing there, bouncing footy. They just need to find it. Richardson planted his feet in the ground before flicking a handball over the top. Came to Taylor. Taylor gave it back to Richardson. Inside 50, needs a mark, wants a target. Ball came to ground level. Handball over the top. Running into the open goal. Stevens, he kicks his second. Fulford kicks his second. Beautiful goal, beautiful run on. Reckless abandon. Price, he strikes again. They just kept running the Ds.
Well, this is the thing. They took the game on, and we said that last week. You were here last week and you called it. We see it on the Tribal Sport replay. Off hands. No talk from the Swans' defence. And the no-look handball over the top. Saw Ben Fulford. He's a cheeky little goal sneak. I like the way he plays his footy. But the Swannies just got in each other's way there. No communication. And that's unusual for them because they're such a brilliantly set up football side. But here we go. 10 points the margin, 38 plays 28, halfway through the second term. We're back into the ball game.
3 in a row, can you believe it? A couple of minutes ago we were thinking, what can they do? Suddenly they've got the momentum as it came to Maguire. His kick was partially smothered, going Bob. Geez, he picked it up well then, Rose. He wanted something in the corridor, couldn't quite find it. They had to be a little bit agricultural, the Swans, as it came to Fox. Back through traffic to Rose. Rose across half-back was nice to Styles. So they'll just look to slow the game down here, the Swans, get it back onto their terms. Short kick to Marsh. It's the captain today. Looks further afield. He's got Brown providing a lead. That is ignored. So he'll have to go long to a contest. 30 players park themselves underneath it. Highmore the flying fist. And it was well done by Baker as well.
Physical contest. And it's being enjoyed by the crowd here at Blacktown International Sports Park. Buses of Canberra Demons supporters from the nation's capital coming here. And, of course, the local support for the Sydney Swans, unquestioned. Throw in. Darcy Cameron double hands it down. Missed by Fox, picked up by Maguire. Handball back to Smout. Under a lot of pressure. That's gone 7.5 metres. Darcy Cameron gets paid the mark. Just very short. Long towards right half forward. Packer players. Highmore absolutely drilled his teammate there. Ball spills, picked up there. Canberra have it. Gary Rowan completely and utterly wrapping up his opponent in Smout. Umpire's going to have it at right half forward.
So the Swans, they'll be looking for a steadier. It is a 10-point ball game here at Blacktown. Game on. Canberra kicking the last 3 if you've just joined us. Swans trying to work the footy inside 50. Rowan laying a tackle. Bell there, came out to Rose, flicked it backwards, inside 50 through Stern. Who wants to mark it? Canberra with numbers. Is it a mark? It is. Thought it could have been off hands, but he did so well there. Swans player just held his ground beautifully.
That Cooper Kilpatrick.
It is Kilpatrick.
Nice little ponytail going there from Cooper.
So he's played 8 games this year, Cooper. 5 goals. Distance shouldn't trouble him here. It'll just be a matter of going back and kicking it. A steadier for the Swans. Comes in, strikes it, straightens up, hits the woodwork.
Had a few posted today, Eddie.
Few at both ends for both teams. So Canberra now look to clear it out of defence again. Long one. Kilpatrick parks himself under it. Coming from the side. Stoddard got a rush kick forward, looking for Brown. Came off hands. Cameron there. Maguire too. Starting to find a bit of it in this second term. Smart kick into the corridor, and they're away here, Canberra. Brown with pressure. Ball at ground level. Swans with numbers across half back.
They're going to pick it up here. Well done, Rogers. Gets a handball off now to Veerhouse. He goes across to Harry Marsh. Marsh now has a runner over the top. So Reardon, he's got another runner coming towards him in Veerhouse, who covered a lot of ground there, got involved second time in this passage of play. He's in front of the I Love Blacktown sign, goes long down the outer side. Front position there was Baker, could have copped a free kick, nothing doing. That is Baker Jack. Baker Angus in there as well. Ball stuck underneath, and the umpire's going to hug himself. Umpire Cameron Barr, and ball it up.
So real arm wrestle at the moment. Cameron grabbed it out of the ruck. He's the Neefle ruckman of the season. His kick's good. And the Swans have numbers. Rowan is all alone. Goes his direction now. Eyes never left the footy, Gary Rowan. Marks strongly.
Now, Tom Highmore is a very athletic good player. Played his first NEFL game at the age of 16, but he's playing against somebody special here in Gary Rowan, who completely outpointed him body-wise there. Just used all of his experience, was favoured by the kick slightly, but too experienced in that contest.
Kicked one earlier in the day, Gary Rowan. This for his second to give an 17-point lead the way of the Swans. And make no mistake about that. Just great vision there for the kick. Gary Rowan, right place, right time. His eyes, as I said, never left the footy going for that ball.
No, and a beautiful kick for goal as well. Even though he does lean back on it, you'll see that it actually pulls left when you lean back. But he actually has a clean drop of the ball. Usually a prolific kick of the ball as well. But Gary Rowan, he's now got his second, 17 points the margin. Sydney just skip out again, 20 minutes gone. Second quarter, NEFL TV through Bar TV, Michael Price and Eddie Summerfield calling all of your action. We'll just have a look who's coming off the field there. Sydney Swans player has got a little bit of, looks like a little bit of left eye
Bailey
problem.
Stewart.
Yeah, he's being helped by the physio down into the dressing rooms as the Swans come through. Well rove there by McGrath. Kai McGrath kicks it long down the outer side. Once again, Canberra defence repel. Kick forward again, Harry Marsh, who drops what he might have taken, helped out by Darcy Cameron. They've got it covered again. O'Riordan's got Stoddart. He's going to take the mark at right half back. It's clinical in the defensive area, the Swans.
So just ticked on into the time-on period of this second quarter. It's been an absolute thriller so far. The Demons mounting a bit of a comeback as it's fisted away. They've got numbers here, the Swans. Stern bent over. Oh, pressure was outstanding from Canberra. The chase down run and carry from Guy Richardson, a GWS Academy player, playing his third game for Canberra this season today. As they go quickly, Powell, the booming kick inside 50. Over the top, mark spilled by Stevens at ground level. Well done there, Pake. Found a bit of space, snapping around the body. He's got a goal. Beautiful stuff there from Canberra. Pake kicks his first of the afternoon. And the pressure from Canberra inside that forward 50. They rushed it down there. And it was well done there. Stevens as well too. So we look at the tribal sport replay.
Geez, have a look at the dexterity for the big man. He's actually 100 and something kilos. Big baby Huey style, Alex Pake. Just did the don't argue. And then the actual skill level to drop it onto the boot and curl one. Well played, big fella. 11 points the margin now. That's more like it. 21 gone, second term, NEFL TV. And Alex Pake is one of those blokes who would be in the AFL drafting conversation. I still reckon a couple of kilos off.
He's played every game this year, and that's just his second goal for the season for Canberra. He loved it.
He did love it. Darcy Cameron got the tap down. Taylor pinged. Yes, he just let loose the ball. Before he got the clearance himself, he sharked it. The hit out from Darcy Cameron was tackled, and he just flat out dropped it in front of the umpire. The umpire had no hesitation or other option. So they'll play on. Jake Brown gives it to Harrison Marsh. It's a long kick inside 50. Gary Rowan goes up a week too early. Could have given away a free kick. Klemke to Maguire. They'll get it through hands here. Dangerous. Baker. Highmore. Slung. Well done, Maguire. Got the hand in. Richardson. That's a dead set basketball throw by Guy Richardson. He grabbed it in two hands and threw it to Maguire, who's tackled into the AstroTurf by Robbie Fox. And the pair of them are into it too. Robbie Fox on top. Richardson comes in. Says, get off my teammate. Robbie Fox is back into his face. The emergency umpire comes out as well. Ball down into the goal square. And Smout, he saves the day.
Oh.
Tries to get it to Bruce. Bruce did well to get it towards the boundary line. Target achieved. And Maybaum wanted to keep it in. Interesting game. Just starting to get a bit of spice, a little bit of extra mayo on this one, Eddie Summerfield.
Spreading it everywhere at the moment. I thought Canberra could have been away there running it out of defence, but Smout the short option as it's thrown in. Half forward for Sydney. Cameron, both ruckmen go to ground. Spilled out to Bell. There is a whistle on play, and it's 50. So the free kick to Canberra in the rucking contest, and then Bell thought advantage was going the Swans' way. It wasn't.
Well, that's the thing. When you hear the whistle, you always attuned as a player to play to the whistle. I still get absolutely bemused by players who play to the whistle and then play on.
Looks for an option forward as it's taken quickly. Big fly from the side. Pake marks, but there's a free kick for Shepherd.
Oh dear. That must have been Mitch Hardy who got involved in that contest and held
O'Riordan.
Yeah, out of it. So, gee whiz, Pake took that big grab, and that could have been crucial. Intercepted. Owen Auburn couldn't quite get there. Will the Swans get out of here? Putting themselves under enormous pressure, and Canberra helping them out in that regard. Sam Wicks bounces it towards the wing. Gary Rowan.
Oh, no.
Oh, bit of pace. Gets rid of Highmore, has a bounce, and then hooks a semi-torpedo mongrel. Oh, did he mean to bounce it like that? I'll say he did. Rose grabbed it and kicked it out in the full. Just he's an enigma. He's a puzzle. He's a riddle dipped in a mystery, is James Rose.
Oh, if only. He had so much time there, Rose, for the Swans, but Canberra, they'll bounce out of defence through Angus Baker. Beautiful kick as well. So this is where Canberra, if they move the footy fast, they're dangerous. Couple of short kicks, they'll get it back via hand, why not? Looking forward now, that next kick's so important. Bruce comes from a mile away, punched away from him, ground level, still a chance here, Canberra. Swans come with numbers now. Handball flicked back, kick goes inside 50, bouncing ball, danger time for the Swans. Styles went without it, Demons with numbers, underground kick was ugly. Going back, Marsh wants the boundary line, finds it. And Peake there as well, he's got a taste for a goal, Pricey. He wants another, he took a mark before, not paid. And he's just lurking, he can snap him from all angles. 11
points the margin. You can just sense that Canberra have got that little bit of belief back now, late in the second quarter. Throw in. Peake double hands it down. Hacked away by Sydney defence. It'll come back in for Canberra. Right on the edge of 50. Well done there by Brown. He's then immediately tackled. It's going to be
holding the footy.
Holding the agate here. And umpire Cameron Barr comes in. The tackle, that came from Powell. I was just absolutely gobsmacked with the way that Reinhardt got pounded into the ground and couldn't see which player. Couldn't see his ponytail or his number or anything there. He was blanketed by Powell. But now this will be an interesting prospect. If Powell knocks this one through, we are back to a 5-point ball game after the Swans led by 19 at quarter time. Let's have a look at it. Jack Powell, Ainsley product, GWS Academy, loads up from 45. Oh, just fades a little right. 1 point, back to 10 points, 45, plays 35 late in the second quarter.
So the Swans just short out of defence. Flanagan got his hands on it at the moment. Looks further afield. Stoddard the target. Bell too. Came out the back. D's with numbers. Oh no, handball gave it straight to his opponent. The Swans will run through. Stern can take a bounce. He's got Bell running with him. He elects to centre it to Rowan. Beautiful, smart play there from Josh Stern. Lowered the eyes, looked inboard, and Rowan marked uncontested.
That is a superb kick from Josh Stern. Pennant Hills product. Played in the Premier Division Premiers last year for Pennant Hills. And boy, oh boy, wouldn't you love to be getting the service there? Didn't have to move Gary Rowan, lining up for his third.
Kicked one from a similar spot earlier this quarter. Starts his approach. He's got 2 today. This for number 3 to take it back to 16 points. Leans back on it. He's got it. So the Swans again, they just kick away and keep a handy buffer.
Yeah, you don't want to put too much on it. You can see on the Tribal Sport replay, the compact and direct kicking style of Gary Rowan. You don't want to throw it all on one man, but poor old Ben Hales there just threw the handball out and it was intercepted, bang, goal down the other end. It's that crucial, the retention of the ball and just, I suppose, in and around the clinches. You've got to be mindful that the Swans are experts in and around that battlefield area. So just make sure your ball security is there as well. 18 points to the margin. It's going to be a very, very difficult thing for Canberra to sort of get that momentum back just prior to half-time.
Geez, Cameron was good there. He couldn't quite win the clearance this time. Bit of volleyball going on. Maguire saw none of it as it ricocheted off his shins. Great work by hand. It came out to Marsh. He's wrapped up in a tackle. Smout again. Very good. He has a look forward. Free kick will come back to Jared Osborne. So, kicked a crucial goal last week on 3-quarter time, Osborne. This time he's putting it inside 50 before half-time. Pressure coming from the Canberra forwards, just trying to lock it in. Salvage one more goal before the half. They've worked so hard this quarter. Footy at ground level. They got numbers here. Brown flicked it out via hand. Maybaum there too, as they'll turn it over, and the mark will be taken by the coach, Klemke.
So Cade Klemke wants to get a wriggle on. The former Queanbeyan Tigers Essendon rookie-listed player kicks it inside the corridor, looking for an aggressive kick. Front and centre was Bailey Stewart. He puts it into the middle of the ground. Once again, the Swannies have got a chance. Gary Rowan's going to get this. He'll loop the handball over the top. No, he'll go back. He'll just retain possession. They're 18 points in front, and he's going to go very long. This is James Rose territory. Got rid of his opponent, then slipped over. Could have been anything. That James Bell gets onto the ball, and at half-time, the Sydney Swans are leading by 18 points. So Canberra won that by a point that quarter. The Swans led it by 19 points at quarter time. They now lead by 18 points at half-time. Your goal scorers for the Sydney Swans: Gary Rowan's got 2, James Bell with 2, Riley Stoddart, Jake Brown and Hamish Elam, all with goals. For the Canberra Demons, Ben Fulford bobbed up and kicked 2 in a minute in that second quarter. Mitch Maguire's got 1, and Alex Pake has 1 as well as Smout. That's so. We've got all of the scorers there. But look, Eddie Summerfield, it was, I suppose, a story of the chances missed for Canberra, and just basically trying to keep their heads above water against this rampaging Sydney Swans attack at all times.
They looked like the Swans were going to kick away during that second quarter, but as you said there, they got 3 goals in the space of about 5 minutes, the Demons, and the Swans, they were suddenly under pressure. They didn't know what to do. The Demons leaders, they really did step up there. Maguire started to find it. Smout, he had plenty of it. Martin as well. Klemke a couple across half back, a couple of turnovers from him as well. But the Swans, they've stood up today. Harry Marsh, he's been outstanding. He's had 17 disposals to half time. Colin O'Riordan, he's had 14 across half back. James Rose, we've loved him going forward today, Pricey. He's an excitement machine, but just a shame his disposal lets him down on occasion. Smout, he's had 13. Darcy Cameron, he's dominated the rucking contest today. He's had 13 disposals as well, couple of clearances. The Swans, they've earned this lead, but geez, they've got a challenge coming in this second half because the Demons are coming.
Oh, they'll be coming. The one thing that really I can see with the Sydney Swans, their aerial dominance is really hurting Canberra. Their height, as you said earlier, in defence, they've taken 49 marks to 16. Wow. So that is an absolute flogging and a half of football aerially. So the young Canberra Demons, they're just in it, 16 points out of it. They've got the speed, they've got the enthusiasm, but they need to bring it all and have it sort of working properly in this second half. It is an 18-point ball game, 5-5-35 against 8-3-51. The Sydney Swans are leading this one at Blacktown International Sports Park, part of the preliminary final number 1 game, 2018 Tribal Sport NEFL Finals Series. Now, last week, Eddie and Mark Kanga Kennedy had a ball calling the Sydney Uni versus Canberra game, and last week Canberra stunned absolutely everybody when they flogged Sydney Uni, and it was a thriller. Let's check out the highlights.
There to the left, right-hand side of your screen, Sydney Uni to the left. Canberra for the first time in September. Thrown up again. Tagliabue won this one down to Bird. The clearance king got it to half forward for the students. Mark spilled. Ball at ground level. The Demons did well there. High up and under. That could bring rain later this afternoon. Tagliabue used his body well, not the 15. The clearing kick came from Highmore for Canberra. Got it to the wing. Now the foot race is on. Leading it is the Demons. Vanguard couldn't quite pick it up, flicked it out, so he didn't get pinged for holding the footy near the boundary line out there, and the Demons will go inside 50 for the first time this afternoon. Footy bouncing in front of Hebron, and it goes out of play where it will be tossed in. He's got a paddock to work with, looks forward. Young's there, Derricks as well, goes his direction, hits him on the chest.
It might be Lucy, I think.
And played all 18 games this season, kicked 15 goals. This one coming back, it drifts through. And Uni have the first score of the day through a beautiful Austin Lucy goal. He gets it, kicks it long, one-on-one situation, chance here for the Demons. Ball bounces not in the favour of the target as it came out to Carr. Carr should run in and kick their first goal in September. Well done, Harry Carr. There's a chance for the students inside 50. Big pack of players from behind. Derricks, flew, mark not paid. He'll have to play on. Snap around the body, goal.
And it was Highmore that picks it up. And they go quickly. Baker ends up with it. Got it from Maguire. Inside forward 50. Hits ground. Malign gives a quick one off to Pake. Pake to Fulford. Nobody there. So he runs in and gives it some. Just to try and get some one-on-one contests as Canberra try and push back into defence. It was Stevenson off the ground. He put it right to the line. And trying to claim it there was Foster. And the umpire's conferring. So Foster went off the ground. Goal umpire, I believe, signalled she thought it was touched. And it's hard to believe it'll be overthrown like that. In fact, it will. Right at forward 50.
So Brian plays on now. He goes long. Derricks is the target, as is Davies. Ball spilled at ground level. Here's Bonnie charging through, kicks a goal. Great crumbing work from Damien Bonnie.
And Dimmery goes in board, finds O'Brien. That's a terrible kick. Might be trouble here. Fulford got Smout out by himself, lines it up and shoots it. A horrendous turnover. That's the second one from Zach O'Brien in this game. Malign, long inside forward 50. 2-on-2 contest. Day at the back. Bruce at ground level and kicks another. Was Davies. So Davies looking for a target, just finds Young about 60 out. He goes quickly. That's an awful looking kick, but nonchalantly just reeled in with the one arm.
As Bird starts his approach.
Goes in and he has squeezed it through. So Craig Bird, another midfielder, adds to the first one that Zach O'Brien has the run of Stevens over the back. One-on-one contest. Burke's there. Stevens is there. The push and shove. He gets a boot on it and it goes through. Reed Stevens.
30 points. He's got one already. Make that 2 for Carr. That's a beautiful kick and goal. Set shot excellent. Back out to 5 goals here just after you thought Sydney Uni were getting the momentum back.
And Lucy comes in.
Bring it back to a 23-point ball game. He won't have the carry. Derrick's the target. Strong hands, strong mark. Had one touch to half-time. That was a goal. Comes in. Drop punt. Squeezing through. And Derricks has got 2. Eventually finds the handle on the footy. Looks for a likely target. Runs to 50. Goes himself to the top of the goal square. Great use of the body. Could be a push. Umpire says no. That's a great mark, Alex Peach. Go back and have a shot for your first goal of the season. Hasn't kicked a goal all year, Peak, in 18 games. This one, make no mistake about it, it's a goal.
Klemke leads the charge on Young, but the ball falls to Stevenson. Bonnie, now Dimmery. Little chipping ball inside forward 50, and that's a good mark under heavy pressure.
See how he goes. Bit of wind blowing at this end.
So Reinhardt hits it reasonably sweetly. It's there. He likes it. Gives himself a clap. Potter gives a quick handball over the top. O'Brien, he senses a player further afield. It's touched off the boot. So play on's the call. Sierakowski had his handball partially smothered. The ball handballed in the goal square by Davies. 2, Derricks. That's 3 for Jacob Derricks.
Inside 50, bouncing footy, well crumbed. They work a handball out to Young. Young couldn't quite find the handle on it, went back through traffic. Smart work from Young, gave it to Bird. Open goal, we're back to 17 points at Blacktown. Not in Sydney anyway, Kanga, so Tagliabue comes in 2 goals from 18 games this season. The big fella on the left boot, he loves it off the boot. It's back to 11 points here at Blacktown. As a bit of push and shove develops at half forward, Tagliabue's kicked his first for the afternoon.
Powell, quick kick away, under pressure, right to the forward 50. And then it was the big boy Richards who just laid it on. And that's a long shot at goal on the siren from Jared Osborne. Towards forward 50, Derricks is there, but still 70 from goal.
So Derricks has a look. He's got Potter leading to the pocket. Young there too. Young out the back. Potter used the fist, came to Young. Young got space, kicked a goal. Students are back within 11 points here at Blacktown.
For Canberra. Pake and Lucy. Give that one to Lucy. Bird, he'll emerge with it. Although the tackling pressure came. Dimmery, he was dispossessed. I'll get it again. McFadden, he's wrapped up by Hardy and gone! From 45 metres. 45-degree angle. Kicks a beautiful goal and puts a knife into the hearts of Sydney University.
27 and a half gone. Canberra in attack, thrown up. Ball comes out towards the hot spot. Powell there, Powell goal. Yes! Canberra lead by 23 points and they should march on to second week of finals for the first time ever.
O'Brien feeds the ball over the top. Davies can shoot for goal and kick one.
Students, they're not giving up. Reinhardt there. Oh, good mark from behind. And O'Brien marks. He'll go back, waste no time. Drop punt on the way. Goal umpire does not move. And perhaps there's still a bit of life in this Sydney Uni team. We're back to a 10-point ball game here at Blacktown.
Has it over the top. The kick is a good one. So now on that outer wing with the siren going. The Canberra Demons. They defeat Sydney University by 9 points in a magnificent effort. The first time in NEFL history that the 6th place side progresses into the second week of the finals.
Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park as we catch the Canberra Demons just running back on in front of us here in the NEFL TV commentary box. The 2018 Tribal Sport NEFL Final Series. This is preliminary final one. At half-time, the Sydney Swans leading 8-3-51 to 5-5-35 to the Canberra Demons. That's after they led by 19 points at quarter time. It is now 16 points here. We've got a scoreboard correction as well. So 16 points the margin in favour of the Sydney Swans. Michael Price and Eddie Summerfield calling all of your action. And Eddie, a ripping first half. The Swans had their dominant periods, but Canberra just showed those little flashes of aggression and enthusiasm, especially with that 3 quick goals in a couple of minutes in the second quarter. But we need more of that from them to bring the game to an absolute boil.
It was 28 points before those 3 goals, Pricey, and as you say, they just they took the game on, Canberra. That's how they won their final last week. That's how they won a lot of games of football during their season. They just got that run off half back. They didn't wait for the Swans to zone off, which they are so good at. The Demons, they took the ball, they took the game on. They need to start finding a few more targets inside 50. I think they've been beaten for height. We've said that all game. They just need to be looking down there. Malign, we haven't seen a lot of him today. He was outstanding last week. I'd like to see him lift in this second half. Aaron Bruce, the skipper, while he's had a bit of the footy, he's imposed himself a little bit. I think he can do more inside 50. Alex Pake, he's been fantastic up forward for the D's, Pricey.
I reckon he has too. He's the former Giants Academy member. He's a big boy, nearly 200 centimetres and 105 kilos. He can clunk a ball and he can roost a ball as well. He needs to be a focal point. The marking situation, as we alluded to just before half-time, the Swans 33 marks in front of the Canberra Demons, so 16 to 49. So that's a complete disparity and showing the aerial dominance of the Sydney Swans. When it gets to ground, though, I reckon Canberra, with their pace, their intensity, if they can break away, that's where they're going to get them. But a really intense game of footy, 16 points of the margin in a prelim. We've got a half of football to decide who will meet either Aspley or Southport in the grand final in a couple of weeks' time. That's a mouth-watering clash that's coming up streaming live later on the Savo as well.
Can't work out who's going to win that clash. I came to the footy today. Who's going to win this clash?
Yeah, toss of the coin. Lucky they just minted one with the new head of the Queen on it, so you can do it two-headed as well. But toss of the coin for both games, I reckon. This one's still alive here at Blacktown. The Sydney Swans against the Canberra Demons. Of course, the Canberra Demons made their own history last week when they defeated Sydney Uni, the first team to finish 6th in the NEFL ladder and then progress to week 2 of the final. So they've already put their names in the record books, the young and enthusiastic side. Let's see if they can book that place in the NEFL grand final, and Sydney Swans as well. Michael Price, and this is Eddie Summerfield with all of your action here on NEFL TV.
16-point lead to the Swans, winner through to the grand final. As it's bounced in the middle, Swans will win the clearance. They're kicking to the left-hand side of your NEFL TV as the Canberra Demons, they had numbers, but Brown, he'll get a second clearing kick. High, up and under. Who wants to mark it? Coming from the side was Gary Rowan with numbers, the Demons, but the Swans, they'll work a couple of handballs out. Robbie Fox met hard, driven into the Blacktown turf, and it will be thrown in. Swans in attack.
Yeah, umpire comes in to ball this one up again. So many players around this ball, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's all but 10 players inside attacking 50 for the Sydney Swans. Now the Canberra defence can come out. Mitch Maguire, can he control it? Well, he eventually does. Cops a high contact too. Umpire Cameron Barr saw that one in the middle of the ground. So Mitch Maguire goes to the outer side, goes over Pake and finds his teammate in Vardaniga. So Vardaniga to the outer side as well. Puts it at the feet of Riley Budd, who goes back and gets it. Back to Vardaniga. Handball now over the top. Mucking around with it a bit here. Smout, left footer, kicking it towards half forward. Pake arrives late, but applies the tackle and dislodges the ball. A dodgy looking kick straight up in the air. Umpire will call play on. It ends up in the middle of the ground. That's a great mark. Oh, not paid. I reckon it could have been to Reinhardt, but Canberra will get out of here. It's going to come towards the commentary wing, and there's a race on. Martin gets there first. It bounces kindly for him, picks it up, right foot to right half forward. Hardy at the back. Swans with the numbers. They'll get out of here through handball.
So a couple of handballs just stopping back to O'Riordan. He'll find some space, then hoik it up to the wing. Rose will fire from the side. Ball came down to ground level. Allen there. Rose going back in. Second effort was good. It just found itself in his hands. Brown should come to it, but getting the clearing kick was Vierhouse. Got it to the wing. Turned over. Pulse there. Went without it. He's dived into that and copped one high. Umpire circles. That's holding the footy.
Blindsided.
So
Didn't see the high contact. The umpy was blindsided there.
Baker went back in after it and turned it straight over. So the Swans just short. Here's Brown. He's had plenty of it today. Loved his game. On the right boot inside 50. Outstanding kick again. And the Swans looking good going forward. Rowan provides a lead up to the square. It's ignored by Reinhardt. Goes that direction now. Turned over. And Canberra should clear it out of defence through Riley Bard.
They'll get very much relief if it makes it to Smout. It just did. He gets the handball over the top, so they will get out of this. Malign down to the outer side. Now Aaron Bruce versus Maybaum. It bounces nicely for Maybaum. Gets around Bruce too easily. Slips over. Bruce just buries him for good measure. And they'll still get out of this, the Sydney Swans. It ends up in the hands of Vierhouse down the outer side. So they will hold up. They do tend to do this, Eddie. When they've got the ball, they try to maintain possession as much as possible. Darcy Cameron, the target. Why wouldn't you? Front and centre. It's towed forward, and it's going to go out of bounds. So we're about 30 metres from the Sydney Swans goal in the right forward pocket. There will be a throw in. They're under attack again, showing a lot of that professionalism that is the trademark of the Bloods, the Sydney Swans.
No addition to the three-quarter time score. It is the Swans in attack. Hopefully you're enjoying this prelim final action. Cameron won it down, snap around the body to the goal square, turned over and marked. Last line of defence by Stevens. Has a look forward, has to go short. Got Osborne. Osborne short again. This is better from the D's. Now the long kick. Bruce the target. He'll go over his head. Mark spilled. Well done there, Maybaum. Through traffic good. Had Fox on. Worked the handball nicely. Ducking, weaving, holding the footy surely. Umpire called play on. Spilled out. He'll just let the play go on. Handballing it to himself was Powell. Interesting play. Bouncing ball again. Malign there. Couldn't find the handle on it as Canberra worked the kick forward. Good use of the body by Baker. O'Riordan lurking. Kick off the ground will go onto the road. And Canberra will have a big chance here. That was a weird passage of play, Bryce.
It was strange, like O'Riordan's kick out of bounds. But that play before on the outer side when the player threw the ball onto his boot, missed his boot, but it wasn't incorrect disposal. Oh dear, oh dear. So Canberra going into attack here. They're at left half forward. It's with Mitch Hardy. Needs to get involved. Lowers the eyes, touched off the mark. He was looking for Aaron Bruce. He kicked it out of bounds on the full, so it wasn't touched off the mark. It was just a very, very ordinary use of the slipper. So it's a free kick, right back pocket. It's going to go to the Sydney Swans. Riley Stoddart.
So Stoddart up the corridor. Why not? Now, Rose is on in front of us on the wing, but they can't quite get there as Styles went back to Fox. Fox through traffic, outstanding. Handballed it backwards to Maybaum. He'll go for a bit of a run and carry through midfield. Geez, that's good footy. Bailey Stewart, he's a good young player. Flicked it off via hand. He'll now come out wide. Poor kick. Mark spilled there, but he had enough time to recover. Inside 50, Bruce the target. Bruce flies. Couldn't mark it. Ground level. Snap around the body. Stevens, bouncing ball. How will it bounce? How will it bounce off the ground? Smothered off the boot of Hardy. Through for one behind. First score of the third quarter.
Really ordinary kick from Vardaniga there. He had three options and kicked it straight on the head of the Sydney Swans defender. Another goal that goes begging for the Demons. Now the Swans into attack. Highmore cuts it off. Klemke. Oh, that's an ordinary kick. It's come off the right side of the shoe. Picked up there by Kilpatrick and bouncing and a wasted effort there for the Sydney Swans as well. So a bullet dodge for the Canberra Demons. 52 plays 36. Back to 16 points the margin.
Wasting no time bringing it in. Umpire just paid the mark to Martin. He wastes no time because he's got players lining up across half back. Now the Swans have zoned off, so there'll have to be a series of short kicks for the Demons. Just looking at waiting. Malign handballing over the top. Interesting options. Swans with numbers, but the Demons, they've done well here just through traffic. Handballing out onto the wing. In the hands of Smout there. Short again. He can take a bounce. He could take two. He could run to 50 and have a shot at it if he wants. Swans came at him. Handball out wide to Hardy. Good. Underground kicks. Peeked the target. Couldn't quite find it. Swans with handball. Brown clearing defence. Ugly. Weird. Torp out of defence. Works into the chest of Cameron.
There goes the Swans again. Geez, they put the skates on, don't they? McGrath kicks it to right half forward. Bounces kindly there. Stern goes back in, lowers the eye. Is going to hit Rowan. Did beautifully. And Gary Rowan will go back and will have a ping at his 4th goal. Not exactly racking up the stats, but when he does get it, he uses it beautifully. Gary Rowan.
Second time we've seen Stern waxing with Rowan going forward today. His kicking has been fantastic.
Yeah, well done, young fella Stern. Rowan from 55. Good-looking conveyance, a little to the right, though. One behind, 8-5, plays 5-6. So that's 17 points the margin. Sydney lead, 7 minutes gone, third quarter.
Geez, it's gone end to end this third quarter. It was a real arm wrestle in the first half. If you've just joined us, Martin kicking out of defence for Canberra. Working slowly. Oh, he's turned it over straight into the hands of Stewart. Inside 50, his kick was poor. Canberra let off again, wrapped up in a tackle by Rose. Umpire calls holding the footy. The chase down from James Rose was good. And the awareness from the Canberra defender just not quite there, as there's a bit of yabba going on, Pricey.
Yeah, there's a fair bit of it going on in there as well. Should have been some from the Canberra defence. A bit of yabba to tell him that he was hot to start with. Young man was under the hammer, and James Rose. He needs to put this away, James Rose. He's a quality footballer. Time to show it to the world.
19 goals in season 2018. Hasn't troubled the scorers today. 40 out. Booming. Drop punt on the way. He loves it. Swans are away again. First of the third quarter. That was a big strike from James Rose. And we are out to a 23-point ball game.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on it, but he's capable of anything, James Rose. And that's what the Sydney Swans coaching staff would just love to see him with his ball, with the ball in his hands and striking it like that. That's the equivalent to Tiger standing on the tee and smacking it 350 down the middle. Just a beautiful strike of the footy. And 23 points the margin, starting to get back into that dangerous territory for the Canberra Demons. It's all or nothing today. The winner goes on to next week. The loser goes home, and that is it. End of section for 2018. So the Demons need to get a wriggle on. Swans, though, very difficult team with a magnificent system of proven success. Daniels, he slaps the ball forward for the Demons. Picked up there by, it was Vardaniger again. He lets loose the ball. Highmore punches it forward. Klemke and he argue over it. It's going to come back to Klemke. Handball now. It's with Bud. Bud, short pass. Bruce. There he goes. He's in front of Maybaum. He needs to keep going, Aaron Bruce, and does. Long in the Hardy direction. Could have caught one high. Nothing doing. Fulford. Fulford did well. Oh, great tackling effort there by Veerhouse. Took him over the boundary line, and that's holding the agate. Great defensive tackle from the Sydney Swans, and it's with O'Riordan in defence.
He'll take a running bounce through a defensive goal square to complete the switch. Risky kick, good pressure from Canberra. Footy just came to the ground, and the Swans again outstanding. Stern in possession, works it up the wing. Running out of defence there is Styles. Looks up, he's got a target. He's got men lining up inside 50. It's just a matter of who's his better mate to kick to. Who's in the better position? Rose provided a long lead. Canberra have time to get back in defence. Big fly from the side. Hardy there. Bell too. Gave it to Rowan. Rowan threw it out. Rose lurking. Rose will kick two in a minute. That's a beautiful kick there for James Rose. Out the back, just waiting for the footy into his hands. Thought it may have been a throw from Gary Rowan in the stoppage as we look to the Tribal Sport replay screen of how it came out.
Well, quick hands just.
Just. And we are at 29 points.
Well, again, James Rose, second goal in a minute, and that takes them out. 29 points. That is a game high, 29 points. The highest margin was 28 in the early part of the second quarter. So it's starting to look a little gloomy, as are the clouds here at Blacktown for the Canberra Demons. Umpire goes back into the middle. We've played 11 minutes of the third quarter. Neefel TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. Once again, Neefel proudly supported by Elastoplast. You'll see plenty of that sponsor's product on the knees, shoulders and elbows of most of the players here, including Darcy Cameron, who gets it down. Once again, it's a defensive effort that happens. Brown tackled into the ground, and we'll do it all again in the middle with Canberra needing to get onto the attack.
Went to those two Swans players there as the umpire wasted no time. Brown there, umpire says, let's try once more. So we saw the margin get out, as you mentioned before, Pricey, to a similar kind of ballpark figure in the second quarter. Canberra got 3 quick goals, got it back to 10 points. Now the premiership quarter, they've got to reply as Brown got a rushed kick out. Bouncing footy, great work there by Owen Orban. It's still just ricocheting around, extracted, eventually came out to Stewart. Stewart got a rushed kick to half forward, but the Canberra Demons, they've got plenty of numbers there. Angus Baker on hands and knees. Maguire flicking a handball, turning over. Unlike him, in the back, free kick to Sydney.
Yeah, Riley Stoddart put a little bit of extra on that. Let the umpire know. That's a booming left foot kick to the top of the square. Rose at the back. Canberra defence under pressure. Baker. Can they get rid of the ball here? Martin, he's tackled there by Kilpatrick over the boundary line. Will get a throw in right forward pocket. 29 points the margin. It's in deep attack for the Sydney Swans. Looking to make, well, and yet another NEFL grand final. We'll cover that very shortly. Darcy Cameron slaps it down. Can't be controlled by camera. Wicks! Sam Wicks! Just pulled one. A rabbit out of the hat. The Manly Bombers recruit. Sydney Academy since 2011. Sam Wicks kicks a very, very important goal. 11-5-71. Plays 5-6-36. We're up to 35 points the margin, starting to get into very scary territory. I'll just throw a little bit of a stat at you.
Yes, please do.
Just one little bit of a stat at you. Since 2014, the average winning margin in a preliminary final in Blacktown is 73 points. I rest my case, and I'm throwing out the rest of the stats after that one. So we're not barracking for that, but just that is the average margin since 2014. And the Swans, the way they're looking, Eddie Summerfield, they're looking kind of scary right now.
They've just worked the footy so nicely. They've taken the game on in this second quarter as it's thrown up again. Rose, he's been the architect of so many of the plays. He got a kick forward. Wheeling around was the goal kicker, Wicks. Inside 50, wants a target. Good use of the body, Allen. Ball got away from him as the Demons, they've got numbers. They'll work it up this broadcast wing. Bouncing ball, and it goes out of play where it will be tossed in. And Canberra now, can they respond? Just haven't had the targets inside 50 this afternoon, and they haven't been able to move it from these sort of stoppages with that reckless abandon we saw last week.
Swans dominant in defensive area too, and Darcy Cameron, pretty handy ruckman to be having in your side, as tackled into the ground once again. It's Riley Stoddart gets up with the ball, gives it back to the umpire. Now tossed up. Paik versus Cameron. Cameron dominantly gets the ball down. Fox sucks the man in, gets it to McGrath. McGrath long inside 50. James Rose at the back. Good fisting effort from Baker. Well done there in defence. The Canberra Demons, both Bakers, both Jack and Angus involved as they take it over the boundary line. We'll get another throw in next to the left point post. Still 35 points the margin. Sydney leading this one, 15 gone, third term.
I've loved this third quarter from James Rose. Up forward, been a real target. In the middle, a clearance is at the foot of this ruck contest. Paik won it down. Rose there went through his hands. Canberra getting a snapping, clearing kick. Powell underneath it, but it's a fantastic mark. Slips catch, if you like, almost from the big ruckman.
He did well to get down that low.
He's an athletic beast, Darcy Cameron. His improvement this season's been out of sight as he bangs it to the hot spot. Dangerous kick. Who wants to mark it? Good use of the body. Ball spilled to the front. Around the body, the snap at goal from Stern is beautiful. His use of the footy today, Josh Stern, I don't think he's missed a target. He's got his first, and the Swans are now kicking away at Blacktown.
Yeah, you'd have to think that this is going to be tremendously difficult for Canberra to come back, as we see on the Tribal Sport replay. Just got rid of the defensive effort. How about the front and centre work there from Cooper Kilpatrick? Got the handball away and straight through the high diddle-diddle. The Swans, they are now leading by 41 points. A game-high margin, and it's starting to get into that territory where you want to see the young Canberra side respond. You'd hate to see them turn it up at this stage of the season after a magnificent effort last week. It's obviously taken some petrol tickets out of it, and they're playing against a very professional outfit in the Swans. So let's see what the Swannies can do.
Bounced again. Cameron won this one down. The Swans again out of midfield, going backwards to go forwards. Fox, Rose, they'll work it across half-back beautifully. Maybalm now. Put boot to ball inside 50. Bell the target. Big fly. Rohan couldn't mark it. Ball at ground level. And the Demons with all the numbers, because they had no frequent flyers. Kick out of defence was good. Smouthed.
And he took two defenders out in that one leap as well. Good work on the outer side now. Maguire, 45 kick hits Osborne. Osborne held up. Look at Sydney have got it so set up down the outer side. If you're going to kick it down there, that's what's going to happen. Brown took the mark and or 50-metre penalty with some high contact. Bit of a stink on afterwards. They don't like the attention Alex Pake brought to town. Riley Stoddart comes in. And I think it was Brown himself who actually went over to Pake and dropped him on his backside. Umpire's going to ball it up now. No, he's not. 50-metre penalty. Okay, I was just wondering what the chat was about and if the umpire was grabbing the ball himself, why was he doing so? He's just trying to calm things down a little. So down the outer side. And so it's starting to get a little... Perhaps that's a sign of frustration, Eddie, from Alex Pake, who's really... had a good game, but Harry Marsh, he's best on ground for mine, Harry Marsh. He set it up from the start. Long. Oh, Cameron! Darcy Cameron! Kalunk at the top of the goal square. And he'll go back and inflict a little bit more pain on the Canberra Demons.
You got a big man, you chuck him to the top of the goal square, and that is exactly what you want. 202 centimetres of Darcy Cameron. That ball could have been going at 200k an hour, and it would have just stopped.
Exactly right. He's got a big set of mitts on him too. Bucket, Stuart Lowe style.
Yes.
So he'll come back looking for goal number 13 for the Sydney Swans, and the party for next week is going to be starting. Darcy Cameron leans back and drills it. Swans faithful love it here at Blacktown. They're running away with this preliminary final, 13-5-83. Canberra yet to score in this third term. We played 19 minutes of it. They are now, I'm running out of shoes and fingers and toes to count, with 47 points the margin.
What do you do as coach here, Pricey? Do you flick a couple of players back to try and stem the bleeding? It's a prelim final. There's no next week. There's no... percentage to worry about. You've got to take the game on. So what do you do?
Well, it's very difficult. Do you mess with the collective consciousness of this young side, and do you let them to be damned with it and run with the ball, or will you just park the bus and let them put the defensive effort up? You don't know what's going to be better for them psychologically. He knows the group better than we do.
So that's why we're up here as the footy's bounced again. Pake won it down for Canberra. Can they get it out of the middle? They can. Richards the kick. Could have been held. Umpire called play on. Good use of the body there from the Swans' defence. Great tackle. That should be holding the footy. It is.
Yeah.
Outstanding pressure from the Canberra forward.
Well, that's the stuff that they needed to be applying. Still plenty of time if good enough. 18 scoring shots to 11. It's not a complete blowout, but you need Mitch Hardy to go back and show some of his experience, the NEFL Team of the Year member as well, and drill it for the Canberra Demons. Just give them that little bit of a sniff.
20 goals this season. Just the one behind today. Comes in. Great tackle. Can he finish it up with a goal? He can. Beautiful work from Canberra. Beautiful work from Hardy. First real purposeful entrance inside 50 in this third quarter, and they've got a goal through Hardy.
Well, just seeing on the Tribal Sport replay again, he just looked at the left goal post and gave it a little bit of room to work with, did Mitch Hardy. But that's their first score in first goal scored in this final quarter. It's taken them third quarter. It's taken 21 minutes. They really need to keep putting the pedal down. 41 points the margin now. Sydney are leading it. But Canberra, with any hope, they need to keep going. So we've got Daniels in the ruck in the middle, and he's going up against Elam. Daniels wins it, towed inside 50. Quick answer for Canberra would be handy. Pake comes out, tackled, handball over the top. Hardy now Carr. Carr, handballed indiscriminately. It was intercepted there by Cameron, and no. Bell, going to get the handball out. Harry Marsh Gee, a general in defence is Harry Marsh. Collects it and delivers a handball. They'll get out of here.
So Fox to Stoddard. Long kick up the wing. Rowan from the side. Eyes never left it as he's done all day, but he went without it. Klemke went backwards via hand. Canberra will just work a series of short kicks as Smout has a look forward. There's not a lot of movement down there for the D's, so he goes short to Stevens.
And James Rose is the extra man in defence for Sydney, so they've always got an extra in defence, the Sydney Swans. Beautifully structured.
And this work build-up and approach from Canberra is almost un-Canberra-like because it's just been so slow and hitting targets. It's in the hands of Isaac Taylor, who's told by his teammates to just kick it to the hot spot and hope. That's what he does. Big fly. Ball spills out the back. Swans with numbers. Handballing in the goal square. Dangerous territory. Rushed through for a behind.
Once again, 16 of the 18 players on the field were inside defensive 50 for the Sydney Swans, blocking it up. There's no way Canberra love going through that kind of traffic, as the Swannies will bring it back out. 40 points the margin now. Long kick. Canberra, well, they had the flyer at the back. It was Klemke who got the handball out. Can they get it back inside 50? They're sharing it around. Back with Klemke. Handball over the top. Now it's eventually going to go in via Highmore. It was punched away from Vardaniga. Now Smout. He puts it forward against the boundary line. O'Riordan overruns it. Stevens picks it up. Reed Stevens. Oh, very close, Reed Stevens. One behind. 83 plays 44. So it's 39 points the margin, and the Swannies still leading it. Oh, dangerous kick. Maybaum saved the day, though.
He wanted to go back to General Marsh. Instead, goes out wide to the pocket. Rogers was there, but the fist came from the side. Beautiful work from Harry Carr, and it will be thrown in. Canberra not letting up. This game, while on the scoreboard, might suggest it's beyond them at 39 points. If you get the next goal, maybe get 2, get it to under 5 goals going into the last quarter. You never know what's going to happen. Thrown in, Cameron, bodywork great against Peake. Rose tackling good. Could have been holding the footy. Umpire called play on. Thought it may have spilled out, dropped. As Fox is driven into the turf without the footy, he'll get the free kick.
Yeah, that'll go against Owen Auburn. A little bit quiet today. There's been Connor Owen Auburn as the Swans now again running it out. Beautiful shepherding work allows Harrison Marsh to just bounce his way up the field. Drills it into the chest of James Bell. Silky mover. Goes to the outer side. And he hits another teammate. O'Riordan.
There's danger pricey up forward. Cameron is standing there all alone if they can move it down there quick enough for the Swans.
A pretty handy footballer to be sitting inside 50 by himself. You can see right now that Maline's going back there as it gets kicked to right half forward. Daniels and Rowan. He wants to take mark of the day today. Riley Stoddart roved, had a bounce, shot off a handball. It's coming in now. Here's Bell, left foot, going for his third and missed. Could have been a very dangerous situation for Canberra. 13-6-84, 44 to the Demons, so back to 40 points the margin.
So 24 and change gone in this third quarter. Kick-in's a poor one, nearly turned over. Spilling the mark, it came backwards to Rowan, flicked it over the top via hand. Ball smothered at ground level. Great pressure from the Sydney attack. Well done there by Sam Wicks. And it will be thrown up, 40 out from the Sydney goalmouth.
Yeah, I said a little bit earlier, Sam Wicks, he's been on the Sydney Academy since he was, for the last 7 years. So he's done beautifully. The Manly Bombers product goes towards the boundary line. Maguire, Smout on the left foot, needs to measure it. Geez, that went 5 metres. Ends up hitting his teammate, though, in Maline. Maline now under a lot of pressure. Gets a handball back out to Maguire. Maguire, he's going to kick long down the line. No red. Just basically sat in front of it, read it beautifully, and they've been doing it all day in the old footy parlance, Eddie Summerfield. That's the way Sydney have been doing it.
And O'Riordan will do that all day as well. Mark across half-back as the kick goes in. Cameron off hands, unlike him, as they keep coming, the Swans. Spilled out, snap around the body, misses. Let off the hook again, Canberra, just in front of goal all season. The Swans, not the most accurate team, but today, 13-6. Cost them a premiership last year, Pricey. It's something I think they would have been working on over the past couple of weeks.
Absolutely. As the scoreboard catches up, 85 to 44, 41 points the margin. Canberra bring it back out. Isaac Taylor, that was just a Wasn't the greatest handball in the word to Highmore. Could have been a high shot against Rose. Nothing happening, but Taylor just loops the handball over the top. Indiscriminate. James Bell. He's confronted. Goes for the 45. Kick in. Board. Fox roving. Pake gets the handball back. Now Canberra. Baker. It's Maybaum in the middle. He's got a man in the centre circles, and the worst rule in football comes into play yet again. Don't know what Gil McLaughlin's ever going to do that, but the demilitarised zone around the mark is so difficult to adjudicate. I'm not even going to comment, but it's a free kick to Sydney, and they will go through and kick a goal. It's just a rule that is destroying our game. It's
kind of good in theory, but it just doesn't work in practice. Make a change during the off-season.
I think they will, but something needs to happen with regards to this. But Jack Maybaum, he's had a ripping game, hasn't he?
Hasn't kicked a goal all year, Pricey.
Oh, there you go. He might have been given one there. Number 45 in the 2016 draft, the former Vic Metro product, Jack Maybaum. Drills one for the Sydney Swans. Gives his teammates a piggyback, and they all get around him too. His first goal of the year. Cop that in a prelim. 14-7, 91 to 6-8, 44. 47 points the margin.
It was a beautiful strike from Maybaum there. He's a defender. He's worked so hard in defence for the Swans today, marking, running, creating options. And then when he got that 50-metre penalty, he didn't make any mistake about it. Good young player.
Oh, he's a great player. From Melbourne Grammar School as well, from Knox. And the Sydney Swans, well, they could be booking that grand final appearance against either Aspley or Southport coming up next week.
Ball bounced in the turf in the middle. Well done there, Cameron. Almost did his own crumbing work. Taylor wrapped up. I think he got one high. He did. So Canberra, they'll get the centre clearance here, courtesy of a high tackle. Taylor a short chipping ball. It's nice. Had Richards there. Sold a bit of candy. Did well. He's going to have to get his kick. Wicks, that rundown and chase was beautiful. Never gave up, Sam Wicks.
74 kilos versus 107 and dropped him.
And Wicks was coming off the long Dennis Lilly run. He gets the footy now from Brown. He goes in towards the corridor. Great footy from the Swans. Here's Bailey Stewart. He's a good player. He's got players leading everywhere. Goes to the pack. Now big fly from the side. Bell will crumb it. Bell will snap. Bell will miss to the left.
Oh, it's a little few party tricks going on there. I'm determined. I'm sure Gary Rowan's determined he wants to take mark of the year before the day's out.
Does he know it's not paid in the finals?
Canberra goes straight down the middle, and that's what they've got to do at the moment. You've got to get a bit of a wriggle onto the outer side now. Good contest from the Swannies. Brings the ball to ground. No, it was a chop of the arms, and it's going to go. The free kick will go to Lucas Malign. He puts it back into the middle. Mitch Maguire, again, not as prolific as he usually is. Well, and that's a very ordinary kick. He was looking for Far Dagenham, but it was actually taken by Bailey Stewart for the Sydney Swans. He intercepted it, and they'll be happy with nearly 30 minutes gone in the third quarter just to maintain possession. Out in the outer side, Robbie Fox. Very happy. Sorry, it's Maybaum again. Goes long down the line. Baker pushed off it by Darcy Cameron. Klemke. He gets a handball across. Now Riley Budd. What's he going to do with this? Riley Budd, he's just going to sink the slipper in it looking for Pake. Pake front position. Baker roving. Tackled. Ball stuck to him. Rose did the tackling. Ball still underneath him. Umpire James Strybos from Queensland pays the free kick right. Pays the ball up right on the 50-metre arc.
Wanted to touch himself. As it's thrown up, Canberra in attack. Cameron ruckwork great again. Rose lurking. Cameron, well, he does his own roving in the end. Handball came back. The Swans out of defence. Look at Bell. He will take off here, Bell. He will run into a vacant inside 50. It's a matter of how many bounces he'll take. There's one. He runs the full 15, walks into the easiest goal. Thank you very much on the three-quarter time siren. Bell has his third. And the Swans have marched away with this game of football in the third quarter. They banged on 6-1, and outstanding work from Bell on the tribal sport replay, running into the open goal. And it is a 54-point ball game. A tidy 9 goals here at Blacktown, Pricey.
Ooh,
the Swans, outstanding. The week off, they're fresh.
Yeah, they are fresh, and plenty of goal scorers too. Rowan's got 3, Bell's now got 3, Rose has got 2, and then singles to Maybaum, Stoddart, Brown, Wicks, Stern and Ellum for Canberra. Fulford's got a couple, and Alex Smout, Mitch Hardy, Mitch Maguire and Alex Pake have all got singles as well. It is a 54-point margin after for the Sydney Swans after they led by 16 at halftime and 19 it was at quarter time. They really put the pedal down there, the Sydney Swans. What a cracking quarter. And the major ball players as well. There's a few surprises there, and Harrison March has really had a great game for Sydney too in defence.
He's been outstanding today. He's had 23 touches. Smout, he found his hands on the footy. Canberra, he's had 24. The man who I think set up that quarter for the Swans, James Wright, he had 2 sausages in the quarter. He's had 21 touches. He was in the middle. He was up forward. He was jumping. He was running. He was doing everything. Robbie Fox, another one. He's had 19. The coach for Canberra, Klemke, 19. And Maguire, while quiet, he's had 18 touches today. Kicked a goal in the first quarter. He's been very well marked.
Absolutely. But it is the Sydney Swans, 54 points in advance of the Canberra Demons here at Blacktown International Sports Park, all part of the 2018 Tribal Sport NEAFL Final Series. We'll be back with the final quarter very shortly for you here on NEAFL TV through Bar TV. Welcome back to Blacktown International Sports Park. It is the home of the 2018 Tribal Sport NEAFL Final Series Preliminary Final 1. between the Sydney Swans and the Canberra Demons. And in that third quarter, it was the Sydney Swans who put the pedal down and rammed it home against the Canberra Demons after leading by 19 points at quarter time, 16 at half time. Swans now lead by 54 points, 15-8-98 to 6-8-44. It's Michael Price and Eddie Summerfield calling all of your action. And Eddie, that upset that brewed last week against the Sydney Uni students doesn't look like it's happening today against the Sydney Swans for the Canberra Demons.
It looks like the Sydney Swans, they've done their homework. Ty Canelli, he was out here last week having a look at what Sydney Uni did wrong. They've identified Mitch Maguire. He's been very quiet today. Lucas Maline, he was outstanding last week. He's had a very quiet performance today. They've worked out that the Demons don't have much height going forward, so let's just make sure we've got some good blokes that can take a mark across half-back, and that way we'll be able to clear it up to our end. So fourth quarter about to get underway. Here's Michael Price to bring us home. They've
basically dominated in the air, the Sydney Swans against the Canberra Demons. So 54 points. Here we go. Final term, NEFL TV. And no sense of theatre. None whatsoever. Throw the ball up and we don't have to start again. So 54 points the margin it is. Just looking here, the clouds are still nice and grey here in Blacktown, but no rain, which has been very, very good today. Smout comes in. He's tried hard today. He's buffeted off it by Rose. Now thrown out by Osborne. Maguire loops a handball over the top. Riley Budd just sort of cuts back in and uses his right foot to effect. Now Powell. This is better from the Demons. Want to get a wriggle on now. Long kick from Powell inside 50. Big fisting effort from Maybaum. Front and centre. Oh, it was almost a great pick up there from Hardy, not quite, over the boundary line. Get a throw in, 45 metres out from the Canberra goal. Need to start this one off quickly, Eddie, and hit the scoreboard a couple of times very hard.
Very hard. They won the second quarter, Canberra, albeit by a handful of points. Let's see, they can try and win this final quarter. Take something out of the game, perhaps get nice and close as Powell's wrapped up in a tackle. Ball spilled out, snap around the body. Is it the dream start for Canberra through Maline? No. So a chance there for Canberra just to try and build a bit of momentum as Marsh brings it in for the Swans.
He does it again beautifully. It's going down the outer side and that is turned over. It's with Fulford. Fulford now to Baker. Baker inside 50. Reed Stevens buffeted off the ball. Now it lands with Maguire. Dodgy looking left foot. Cut off by Maybaum. They'll get across here. Or this, did it hit a target? O'Riordan makes it look very, very good. Chips it to Bailey Stewart at halfback, of course. O'Riordan having the distinction of being one of the only players in football world history to be a dual All-Ireland member and a dual NEFL Team of the Year member. There you go. There's a stat for you.
Be the only one in the world.
Exactly right.
So a short kick from Darcy Cameron was good. He's another Team of the Year member. And Bailey Stewart with it. He'll go backwards. Marsh is waiting. Goes short again across half-back. Maybaum. Geez, the Swans do this so well as Veerhouse could have copped one high. Umpire said no. He looks further afield. He'll go short now, and this is where they'll come undone. So Canberra, they'll work the footy quickly. Bouncing ball, Maguire there, wrapped up, and it will be a ball up at half forward for the Demons.
That was half of reckless abandon.
Yes.
They got the actual running right. They did the positioning right and then missed the target, and that's the problem, Eddie. When you're flying like that, you've literally got to hit your targets for it to come off as Mitch Maguire loops one out, slapped forward by Stern for Sydney. Canberra with the numbers here. Klemke in the middle of the ground. He's going to have to come laterally. Comes onto one of the centre circles and finds Smout. Tried very hard today. Got about 24, 25 touches. So Smout, he's going to go to the outer side. He'll go laterally. He's got a couple of options. One of them's Maguire. 20-metre pass from Maguire. Riley Budd on the outer side. He's going to lower the eyes and try to spear one in towards Bruce, who gathers it beautifully, wheels around onto the right foot and kicks from the boundary line. Top of the square, Darcy Cameron floats past, and if he didn't juggle the second one over the line, that would have been a mark too, but he saved the day and spoiled through for a point. 98 plays 45, 99 plays 45, so 54 points the margin.
Chance here for Canberra again. It will be turned over. Martin wrapped up in a tackle as soon as he got it, went back in, wrapped up without it. Umpire called play on. So here's Marsh, one of the best on today, clearing out of defence. It will bounce into the hands, eventually out to Wicks. Wicks, a bit of run and dare, eventually gave it to Rowan, who's also got run and dare. Gave it to Reardon out of defence. Here's another bloke that can run. There's heaps of them. Rose will go over the top. Wicks running onto it. Should mark uncontested. Could have run into the vacant goal square. Instead, he'll go back and have a set shot. Couple out. Beautiful use of the footy through the midfield by the Swans.
And once again, target up forward is a young man who's an academy product. That is the joy of looking at the Sydney Swans list. There's so many wonderful academy products in there. Sam Wicks, one of them.
He's had a really good second half today, Sam Wicks. Plenty of tackles, plenty of run down and chases, but not a goal. That one has missed a long way to the right-hand side, just the behind. So we go out to a 52-point lead for Sydney.
Well, if you subscribe, I think we should just completely and utterly ignore the scoreboard over there, just quietly. I'm back into it, but I don't know which is which. There's we've got 98 playing 46, which is 52 points. We'll see how that goes. It's kicked inside forward 50 for the Sydney Swans. Tom Highmore dives, takes the mark for the Canberra Demons. Once again, the Swannies have got themselves set up beautifully in front. Maguire. He's going to come across now and find Martin. Still at half-back, Canberra Demons. They're not being able to move with that reckless abandon that we have referred to. Baker. Oh, dangerous kick intercepted. Well done there by Reinhardt. Handball over the top. And that inflicts a little bit more pain as it is young Stern who kicks yet another goal, his second. And the Sydney Swans, they're running away with this one. Well, I've got 16. I'm going to have to triple check the scoreboard because they reckon there's 35 minutes gone in the final quarter as well. So I reckon somebody's got their fingers on something other than the buttons. 15-8-98, 6-10-46. That we'll call it that.
It was beautiful from the Swans going forward. I'm not going to touch any of that, Pricey, on the Tribal Sport replay screen. And the Swans just opened that forward line up in this last quarter and running away with it as the ruckman do battle again. Went down the throat of Rose. Eventually somehow got a kick. Up and under, could have been tunnelling. Umpire called play on. Styles got a kick to half forward. Geez, that's almost a really good mark to a full foot, and it is. Reeled it in very nicely. He hasn't given up. Short kick, poor one. Went through the hands of Rowan as it came to Maguire. Got a kick to half forward. Bouncing ball. Chance for Canberra to go back inside 50. Kick was good. Up and under. Needs a target. Bruce held without it. Umpire called play on. Style umming, ahhing it. Tackled. Holding the ball.
Great tackle. Mitch Hardy. Just nailed him. You called it perfectly, Eddie. He was umming and ahhing. He was in two minds. He went one way, then the other. Mitch Hardy went straight and barreled him. End of story.
Eyes on the target. Locked it in. It's been probably one of the only shining lights inside their forward 50 today. Hasn't... he's troubled the scorers with 1 goal, 1. Tight pocket to kick goals from here, but not impossible. Not much wind here at Blacktown this afternoon. So Hardy begins his approach on the right boot. Drop punt. He's gone across the face. Cameron. Good mark for the Swans. And it will be paid a mark. Geez, Darcy Cameron does it at both ends.
He certainly does. He is a man mountain as the Swans again run their way out of defence. That's a beautifully weighted kick to find Stoddart. Riley Stoddart, you'll be seeing a lot of this boy. Vic Metro under 18s as well. He's got a lot of talent. Back to Darcy Cameron. When you're a Sydney Swans fan, you can see the future of your football club playing out here right now. Oh. It's got to feel good. That's a good effort there from Flanagan. Spoiled. Could have been a chop of the arms against Taylor. Taylor tackles him. Sort of semi-headlocks him. Umpire a little bit blindsided there, and we'll ball it up. At left half forward for Canberra. They're trailing this one by 58 points, methinks. Cameron toes it forward. It's a handball now to Robbie Fox. There's a big floater. He's going to just put it there and give Highmore a chance. No. Bailey Stewart grabbed him around the throat almost, and it'll be a free kick to Tom Highmore at 40 metres from his own goal.
Bounced up when he realised he was getting a kick. He'll go out wide to the coach. Klemke is taken to ground after he takes the mark. Could be 50. Umpire says, nope, get up. And he'll go short, this time to Baker, the Angus variety. Goes out wide. Bruce will fly from the side. Couldn't reel it in. Ball came to ground level. Canberra will work the footy forward. Taylor the target. Marks, 53 out. Flicks the handball inboard to the running Richardson. Richardson from 45 unleashes across the face. And at just the one behind. So Sydney just still working as we wait for the footy to come back in, Pricey.
54 points of margin. And Canberra under siege. O'Riordan, long kick. Oh, Rose! Great mark. 2 grabs over the top of Bruce. That's what he's capable of, James Rose. Got the couple of goals today. Set them alight in the second term. Overcooks this kick. Bell did beautifully against Paik. Going to go back and get the ball too, Bell. Then so did Paik. Paik handballs off. Intercepted. Owen Orban gets involved, comes through traffic, lowers the eyes, hits a pass. Did very, very well. Harrison Carr. From inside the centre square, slightly off the side of the boot to the pocket. It bounces, and it bounces a big spin towards the goals, and one behind results. 105 plays 47. So we're back to, 104 plays 48, 56 points the margin.
So Swans, couple of short kicks. As it comes out, it's with Robbie Fox. Short one over the top's nice. Veerhouse will work the handball. He's going to be caught though. Beautiful run down and tackle, holding the ball. Great work there from Fulford. Has a look forward. Hardy's providing a lead. He'll go short. Geez, that was an interesting idea. Taylor works the handball to the running Angus Baker. To the hot spot. Hardy there. Hardy reeling it in. Hardy, handball back over the top. Snap around the body's good from Stevens, but it's touched.
Hit the post.
Hit the post even. Oh, and they rush it back, the Swans.
Yeah, they don't muck around, the Swannies. 104 to 49, 55 points the margin, and the Swans already up to half back. Looping a handball, Veerhouse. Comes to Rose. It's going to come back in board. Well done to McGrath, the late inclusion. Bailey Stewart takes it over. Young Kai McGrath picks it up out of the mud and gives it back to the boundary umpire. Measure of the young man. Well played. We'll get a throw in on this commentary box side of the ground at Blacktown International Sports Park. Had about 14 degrees today. It's been nice and overcast, but no rain at all after a bit of overnight dampness. Darcy Cameron at the front of the pack. Dominant. Isaac Taylor gets down and dirty. Handball forward. Now Rose, the opposite number 1, did beautifully. Handball back in board, and that's a bit of a shank. It came off the side of the boot there from the young fella in Flanagan. Well done to Reinhardt. He really impressed me today. And once again, Daniels smothers off the boot of Jake Brown over the interchange gates. We'll get another throw in. 55 points the margin, final term, and just having a look at the preliminary final number 2, which is happening right now at Fankhauser Reserve on the Gold Coast, and it's Southport 1-3 leading Aspley 1 straight.
Also live on Neefle TV at the moment. Flick over after this one's done as it's tossed in again. Came out to Smout, rushed a kick half forward for the D's, but it will bounce out. Stevens there. Can he find the handle on it? Didn't need to, just kicked it underground. Here's O'Riordan. Handball over the top, good. Flanagan got a helicopter kick to half forward. Big fly. Marks billed by McGrath. And it's rushed over the boundary line. I think it'll be on the full, but it was touched. Off above the knee, perhaps. So we've been playing about 13 minutes into this final term.
I did get the socks off, and so I can count on the toes and fingers. I do believe our Neefle scoreboard is correct, and the one here is incorrect. So it's 105 plays 49. So it's in fact 56 points as Maguire sinks the slipper into it. And umpires pulled the whistle on play and said there was a hole, and it's Smout, who's had a really good game, Alex Smout, 26 disposals now for the Canberra Demons. Goes down to left half forward. Diving effort there from O'Riordan. Brilliant stuff. The 2-time Neefle Team of the Year member, the Irishman. Gee whiz, he's a good footballer, Colin O'Riordan. And there's going to be a throw in at left half forward.
Made his AFL debut earlier this year as it's tossed in. Cameron again, front spot, just tapped it down. Rose, we've said that a couple of times today. High up and under into the square. Footy will be turned over. Taylor crumbed it, snapped it inside 50. Bruce there, falls into his lap now. Bending over Flanagan. wrapping up in a tackle, Bruce. And it will be thrown up. 40 out from the Canberra goalmouth. They've been peppering this quarter, Pricey, which I've really liked from Canberra. Not just dropping their heads and letting Sydney run away with it. As it's tossed up again, Bud went without it off the ground. That was creative. And it goes out of play to the left-hand side of the sticks.
Mitch Maguire there. Yeah, they have been peppering Eddie, but, you know, only 5 behinds. Not worrying the actual score chart at the moment. But it's 105 playing 49. 55 points the margin. 56 points the margin. As it's going to be a stalemate at the top of the goal square again as Robbie Fox applies a tackle and just holds the ball in. Once again, it's Riley Budd getting up. Now we're going to have the umpire come in and adjudicate this one. Paik versus Cameron. Cameron did well. Paik injects himself again. Powell overruns it. Fulford. Ball spills. Guy Richardson could have caught one high. Nothing happening. He still gets it off. Owen Auburn curls it around nicely. Does Connor Owen Auburn. Well done. His first goal, the Pennant Hills product. He was a member of the GWS 2016 Grand Final side as well. He kicks a goal for the Canberra Demons, their first of this final quarter, and their first since halfway through the third quarter. So it's 16-9-105, playing 7-13-55. 50 points the margin here on Neefle TV through Bar TV.
He's played a pretty good game today, Owen Auburn. Just in and out of players, a lot of the Demons have been, but you mentioned they'd been peppering Pricey. They do finally have that major, which they just got to keep working hard. There's only a handful of minutes left of their 2018 season, which is, after today's losses past them, they will mark down as a big step forward for the Demons Football Club. They climbed to the top of the Neefle ladder for the first time in their history during the season. And they also played finals, which is a first, and also won a final from 6 spot, which is a first for the competition, as Maguire, he's been outstanding this year, inside 50. Another tick, but it will spill out to O'Riordan on the right boot. Kicks good. Fox there, marks unopposed. He'll just walk around Klemke, dish the handball off to Wicks. Wicks looks further afield. Smart kick to Brown. He's had a great game today. Flicked it back to Wicks. He's kept trying. Looks further afield. Beautiful kick. And he finds Rowan. Kicked 3 goals today, Gary Rowan. Outstanding first half. Just puts it high to the hot spot. Wants a target. Cameron will fly. Cameron will mark. Easy as you like for Darcy Cameron. Came second in the league MVP this season. He's the ruckman in the Neefle Team of the Year. And he'll be going back for his second goal. This season, Pricey, outstanding. Compare it to last. He's averaging 7 more disposals a game this year. His efficiency's up. He's averaging a goal this year. He didn't average a goal last year. He's taken his game to the next level. Yeah,
he's an absolute gun. You're going to wonder, why isn't he playing seniors at the moment, to be honest with you, in the AFL side?
Made his debut against the Gold Coast at the SCG. That day the Swans lost. Today the Swans Neefle team will be winning. Cameron's got 2. And the Swans just outstanding play there. You've said it all day, Pricey. It's great watching the future of this Sydney side work the footy up the wing, as we see on the Tribal Sport replay. Cameron, just beautiful set shot goal. Goal umpire didn't move, but the use of the footy up there. Wicks, Brown, Fox, just outstanding up that wing. Rowan showing leadership up forward as he has done all day. Didn't blaze away, kicked it to the hot spot where Cameron never in doubt. Never in doubt.
And that was a pack where he was the tall timber for Sydney. The other 3 were Canberra players. So he's dominant force when the ball gets in the air. We've said that all day, that Canberra have actually been outpointed in the air by the Sydney Swans. It's now the marking situation, 99-52, so 47 plus. Completely outpointed Canberra in the air as James Bell slung off the ball. It's promoted forward by the Demons. Let's see what they can do. Connor Owen Auburn slaps it towards his own advantage. Well done there. Good play by McKellar, who actually just put his body in and took the ball over the line. And we'll get another throw in right on the 50-metre arc. It is 55 points the margin in favour of the Sydney Swans. It's 25 scoring shots to 20, so it's not a blowout in that situation. 7-13, poor scoring from Canberra as Cameron overruns the ball. Fulford breaks away, shows some toe. Let's go from 40. Is it going to curl back? It doesn't. Not enough. 7-14, that is. So 110 plays 56. 54 points the margin. The Swannies are leading.
So the kick in is good. It's long and it's marked on the wing. Just stopping, propping, handballing to Maybaum, working the 1-2 nicely. Bud went back looking for Maybaum. He'll have 3 Demons come at him. Flicked it back to Fox, back to Maybaum. Maybaum now through midfield. Beautiful looking kick. It'll land in the hands of Reinhardt. He'll take one bounce. He'll look further afield. He's got players on. Canberra with numbers though across half back. And a strong mark taken down there by House. He flicks the handball off. Canberra will work it forward. And the mark's taken by Maguire.
They haven't given up at all, Canberra, as Maguire goes laterally. Goes to Martin, gets around his opponent. And drills a pass, finds Baker. That is Baker Jack. Into the middle of the ground. Guy Richardson to right half forward. That was good running there by Smout. Knocked up getting the ball. About 27 touches now for Smout. Ball gets chipped inside, forward 50. Reid Stevens found himself in a little bit of space. And that was a good pass that came through there. Reid Stevens will have a shot at goal 35, 40 metres out directly in front.
As we just have a look at Brown, just a little bit of cramp there. I thought it may have been a little bit worse, but his game today, very good as we've mentioned. Great user of the footy.
Oh, and running off half-back, no wonder the man's got cramp. So Reid Stevens, Queanbeyan Tigers product, kicked a goal last week from 45 directly in front. Awkward ball drop, but it's very, very effective. Goal umpire didn't have to move 1 millimetre. So Canberra get their 8th goal. 111 plays 62. So that is now a 49-point margin.
Beautiful strike of the footy. As you mentioned, awkward ball drop. Almost looks like he was going to send it end over end before it hit his boot. But beautiful work there from Stevens. He is another player who works so hard. Plenty of it up forward today. He's just had the 3 games this season, so I'd expect to see a lot more of him next year for the Demons.
And just having a look at the other preliminary final that's coming up, 1:30, it was starting to stream here on Neefle TV and Bar TV. Southport now 2 goals 5-17 in front of Aspley, 1 goal straight late in the first quarter at Fankhauser Reserve. So the Sharks starting very well. Sydney Swans have booked their place into the grand final. Connor Owen Orban gets it to Taylor. Taylor smothered. Now it's hacked forward by Daniels. Kicked to the top of the square. Pake spoiled away from him. Now the Sydney defence again doing beautifully. Maybaum shoots a handball out. Even though they put each other under pressure, Riley Stoddard's going to just pin him back, have a bounce, go onto the left foot and delicately chip one to James Rose. Great skill from Riley Stoddard.
And he's kept running Stoddard, but Bell elects not to give it to him. Gave it to the running Marsh, up to half forward. Beautiful kick. Mark taken there by... Missed who it was as he goes long inside 50. Wants a mark. Cameron there. Fox too. Ball fisted away. Demons with numbers. They'll work a couple of handballs and then just chip it out of defence where Taylor Marks gave it to his running teammate. Put boot to ball. They got players on here, Canberra. They just keep playing with that reckless abandon we saw last week. Ducking and weaving. Smout did well. Shrugged off 2 tackles. Got it to half forward where there's a loose player. Juggling. Marks has a look forward now. Owen Orban kicked it into the man in the mark. That was Rose. Big booming kick. Cameron the target at half forward. Did well against his opponent, but has to go and chase it, the big fella. And Canberra have numbers and they'll run out of half back.
Well done to Martin. Martin handball over the top to Daniels. Smothering effort from Brown was beautiful. Ball's going to spill in the path of James Bell. He'll pick it up. And he'll go backwards to go forwards or go left to go forwards anyway. It goes towards the boundary line. Canberra with the numbers. Well done there. On the boundary line was Styles, who just kept hassling until he was part of the equation. Took it over the boundary line. We'll get a throw in 40 metres out. Left forward pocket for the Sydney Swans. They're leading this one by 49 points.
It's about just over the halfway point of this final term. Swans through into another grand final as Fox roved it down to Cameron. His kick was poor because I didn't think he expected to be doing the crumbing. Highmore got a clearing kick for Canberra to half forward. Well done there by Martin. Martin weaving back towards the coach there. Klemke been good today across half back. Goes across towards Baker. Baker in towards the corridor. Just chipping it now, Canberra. They've got players loose on the other side, and that's where Smout decides to go. Back with the flight, though. Can't afford to risk it when Darcy Cameron is in the area, and he marks quite easily over the top of Isaac Taylor.
Darcy Cameron, he's putting on a bit of a clinic today, isn't he? He's just in the zone, as they say. He chips it forward. Angus Styles was just floating around almost on his own. So I'm a little bit too Harry Laconic Jr. there, and ended up with Osborne. Osborne on the left foot, kicks it to the outer wing. Fulford! Oh, gee whiz. That would have been worth the price of admission if he just clunked that one. Stoddart, who was the step ladder for Fulford. Now James Rose has a bit of a problem. Peeks inboard, lowers the eyes, and hits a pass. He finds Cooper Kilpatrick, but Ben Fulford, gee whiz, he got up very, very high on the outer wing.
Still coming down, I think, Pricey.
He got up that high, he sort of couldn't balance at the 1 mitt. But Cooper Kilpatrick, another youngster for the Sydney Swans, can come in and knock through their 18th goal. 18 goals from 45. It looks good. It fades right, one behind. So 112 plays 62. It's now 50 points exactly here at Blacktown. The Swans leading, and they have booked a place in next week's grand final. Who will they be playing, Aspley or Southport?
At this
will be
stage,
interesting.
Southport.
Whoa, by
a goal of it. Back here at Blacktown, Canberra just trying to work. They're under pressure in defence. Their defence has been good today, but the Swans forward just a little bit better as they chip it out of defence. And the short kick again's good to Maguire. He's racked them up again this afternoon. Short kick's good. Running player Richardson flicked it off as they work it to half forward. Bruce is there. Bruce has a look forward. Owen Auburn provided a lead, ignored. Now goes high. Stevens the target. Big fly from behind. Mark spilled. Ball came back down. Cameron, or wasn't Cameron, as it eventually came out the back. Just trying to work it out as Maybum gave it to the running row, and he'll take one bounce. He could have taken two, but instead does the team thing to Wicks. Wicks looks forward. Could have gone long to Cameron, instead went wide to Brown. Brown now looks for the lead forward. Kick over the top. Cameron there weaving. He can run into an open goal. Cameron snapping around the body. Great stuff there from the Swans. End-to-end work from full-back to full forward. And Darcy Cameron kicks his third goal to extend this lead again for the Swans. And Pricey, we look towards the grand final next week. We know it's going to be a good game considering the contests over the last couple of years.
Well, how many close grand finals can one competition produce? You know, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there have been grand finals decided by 8 points or less in the last 5 years. The Sydney Swans have been part of 3 of those. The Swans will make their 5th grand final out of the last 6 years. They have lost 4, and they've lost them by 8 points or less. They've all been very, very close. They are a class outfit then. They're going to be representing again on the final day of the year here in the NEFL. What an ornament to the competition they are. It just remains to be seen whether they'll be playing Aspley at Aspley or Southport at Southport. Either one of those Queensland teams is a very difficult proposition on their home deck. So it will be big. Gary Rowan in the ruck just to give Darcy Cameron a chop out. James Rose curls it forward. It bounces inside forward 50. Cade Klemke. He's tried hard all day, the playing coach. Gets it back to Baker. Now back to Osborne at right half back. It ended up with. He's going to go down the line. He's got Smout, who's now had 32 disposals. That wasn't his finest one. It's out of bounds on the full. Will be a free kick. Gary Rowan's got it. He's going to load up and go back inside 50. Cameron, why wouldn't you? Punched away from him. It took 2 blokes to get over the top of Darcy Cameron. He has been that dominant today. There'll be a throw in 40 metres out, left forward pocket for the Swannies.
Not only in the ruck has he been dominant, 23 touches, 3 goals, 18 kicks, 5 handballs, been very good. Throwing in 11 marks as well for Darcy Cameron today. That aerial height that we've spoken about all day. As the siren sounds, Sydney through to the grand final for 2018. A dominant performance here at Blacktown. And the Swans live to fight another day.
Definitely, and the Canberra Demons, brave they were. And they were through their inaugural 2018 Tribal Sport NEFL Final Series. They got over Sydney Uni last week in what was one of the boil-overs of the season, if not the boil-over of the season. But they came up today against a proven, damaging group of footballers. When the AFL listed players for Sydney Swans, they might have only had 12 or 13 of them today, but they are some of the best AFL listed players in the NEFL, and also their bottom 13, the Sydney Swans Academy. They've scoured the land, their rookie listings, absolutely superb. Some of the players running around in here you would see playing AFL football for some other clubs, but they're just so strong, the Sydney Swans. They have to work their way through this magnificent NEFL system of theirs as well. Congratulations to Coach Ty Kennelly, who has tied together those two disparate groups, those professionals on the AFL list and the Sydney Swans Academy players, and they have gelled absolutely perfectly. For the Canberra Demons, congratulations on a magnificent season from I suppose, a group of young footballers who never had it in their sights. They didn't have a limit, but they didn't have any restrictions either. I suppose they didn't worry about the fact that they were young or inexperienced. They had a red-hot crack at it. We can finally declare that the scoreboard has now been fixed. 18-10, 118 plays 8-14-62. The final margin was 56 points, just short of 10 goals, and that's reflective of how good the Sydney Swans were. Eddie Summerfield, very impressed by some of their players, the young Sam Wickses of the world, the Joey Reinhardts, the Kyle McKellars, Josh Stearns. Those Swans Academy players are a step above, and I've watched a lot of NEFL footy. These are a great bunch of players. They're going to be playing in their 5th grand final in 6 years. They've lost 4. So the speed wobbles might be up a little bit. The Sydney Swans have played in the last 2 grand finals. They have lost by 4 points and 3 points. Their previous grand finals, they lost by 2 points and 8 points. So we stretch back to the 2013 grand final. It was their first against Brisbane. They lost by 8, and they played that at Graham Road. They lost by 2 points again to Aspley, the famous 2014 grand final, again at Graham Road. So if Aspley get over the top of Southport, Swannies don't like Graham Road, I can tell you that.
So the Swans, last year they kicked 22 behinds in that grand final, Pricey. They lost the game off their own boot. Today they've kicked 18 goals, 10. Their goal kicking all year hasn't been the best.
Yes.
I think they've kicked only 2 more goals than they have behinds all season. Today, much better performance in front of goal, which we saw. Gary Rowan, 3 goals. Darcy Cameron, 3 goals. James Bell, 3 goals. James Rose, 2 goals. They just knew where the big sticks were, which is a real danger next week. If they get the footy forward, they will be very hard to beat. And
it's going to be a very tough game this afternoon. Now that we're finished here at Blacktown, make sure you stream live Aspley versus Southport on NEFL TV through our broadcast partner Bar TV. Mark Kennedy calling all of your action on the Gold Coast there. At the moment, late in the first quarter, Southport 2-5-17 to Aspley 2 straight 12. You can hear the applause in front of us here at the NEFL TV commentary box, and that's for the Canberra Demons, who've had a magnificent season in season 2018. Coach Cade Klemke going up and grabbing his youngster off the wife there. Absolutely great scenes as Aaron Bruce. They've got the babies there. This is a family club, a great spirit amongst these young men, and their supporters very grateful for the effort they've put up this year.
Loved their effort last week. That was one of the best games of footy I've seen in a long time against Sydney Uni. It's a great story, Canberra. Let's hope it builds again season 2019. And this is just a platform for the club to go forward. Sydney Swans can't wait for the grand final next week, Pricey.
Will be an absolute ripper. Eddie Summerfield, it's been a pleasure calling with you, my friend, for the first time. And Blacktown International Sports Park, I love you too. I love that sign. Thanks very much for streaming live here on NEFL TV through Bar TV, and make sure you jump onto the next stream, which is Aspley versus Southport. We'll catch you for the NEFL 2018 Tribal Sport Final Series Grand Final next week on NEFL TV.